You like him?
Yes.
Alright.
Absolutely. Well, we can talk about whether anyone swap spots. It's not a bad idea.
Okay.
Hey, everyone. I'll be back in a second.
I thought they're coming soon. That's all.
Yeah. But I'll make a microphone on. So everyone can be like, oh my god, he's talking to us.
Oh, okay.
Suspicious.
Okay. Thank you.
Yo. Yeah. Alright. Cool. I like having my mess on wireless mess is good, but you need to make sure it's actually charged, right? Hey, Becca, good to see you. Yeah, sure. Confess it. That makes sense. It's not suspicious at all, right? Can be. Yes, well, can be pretty entertaining. Think of all the naughty things you've done, and I'll tell you it's okay. Can't sell oils. That's right. No selling oils. Good to see you, everybody. Suppose this may be caught up with the vaults too, and you probably heard this if you've been playing it on Switch. You're going to get some sounds of a squeaky mole in the background. It's very sad that she cannot eat our leftovers. That's the idea, right? That's I posted today. It's like 6 years old. I still want to give it a go. Because it just gets stuck in my head so often. Alright, let's turn the camera on. Ta-da! Morning, everyone. Good to see you. Hopefully we'll have a bit of fun tonight. We'll get through some of the plot. We're doing some main story. Because we didn't have to commit regicide. We just did. Because that's fun, you know? While we have some crescendo music, having a bit of fun there, it's worth asking chat, is this too loud? Should I turn me up, the game down? My headphones up? It's not going to help, but I'll do it. Yeah, maybe it's going to keep me muted because you can be in real life. Yeah, you're exactly right, everybody. I think Matt actually did us a favor, or he expressed interest. He was like, "Hey, can I bring all my friends? They're relatively cheap." Look quiet. Yeah, okay. Fix that. There we go, just a little bit. I turn the game volume up a little bit, so it should. Like, I don't want to be a dick, but we do want my voice louder than the game. I was listening to a stream last night. Yeah, shout out to Daniel Stick Buddy. I'm having a really good time getting through Orphan, a game I have not played. From an anime I will not watch. It's true. See, a lot of the time I was listening to Critical Role, I kept thinking I know this music from somewhere, and then I remember it's from Pillars, and then I forget. Oh, thanks, Becky. Yeah, I want a cat cannon. That's exactly what I want to happen. Yeah, I'm sitting there just like, yeah, of course I can use the music, it's fine. And that means during combat or explosion scenes, I constantly forget who did this? Why is it so familiar? I was like, oh, I've spent hundreds of hours listening to it already. Good to see you, Luxie. I'm really glad. Not that your ability to discern speech is awful. That's not good. But I am glad you said so, because that's pretty important. I also think I have the music turned down a little bit, not just because I generally have music turned off, because I'm terrible at play podcasts and whatnot when I'm playing video games. Just happens.
Strip us away from the dog.
Okay, then. Thank you.
Then she will be less noisy and I like at least be noisy about.
She might calm down, but she probably won't. She's a very good dog. Very anxious. About 5 past 7, we will click the continue game button and we will get started, okay? Love being able to see OBS saying that you've dropped 0 frames. I'm like, oh, yeah. We're living through this Australian internet somehow, go us. Cheers, you beauty. Oh, don't worry. The feedback is exactly right, and if I'm not rambling in response to your comments, what am I going to do in the first 5 minutes, right? If I get something wrong, you let me know. Hey, Kibble. Good to see you. Yeah. This is why I watch on my tablet, Luxie. Alright. It's 5 past. Let's click continue. Mm-hmm. One day it will crash and I won't notice. Okay. Hey, Mercer One. Anyway, remember, we dealt with some trouble in town. We killed Kolch. No, we saved Kolch and killed the jerk who was running the town beforehand, which is, fun. It was Lord of Barrenland. We just killed Raedric a little while ago. We broke into his house. We stuck around for a while. Then, destabilized the local government. Exactly right. We killed the wife killer and the cat neglector. We took the cat. See? Our little kitty. And he's our buddy now. Kill Kolch. I mean, not a bad idea, to be honest. But he hadn't done anything wrong. He just seemed to be way too interested in being a ruler.
Marvel.
Sounds like a feudal society. Got a slightly unclear throat, but we'll be okay. Did we get a cat? We sure did. We got a little guy. So, on our main character, you have an additional slot. We put a pet in it. Black cat.
Pocket pet.
Pocket pet.
Yeah?
He follows us around. So you can look at the kitty here. I'll see if I can... There you go.
Yeah?
Come on. There. Black cat. Model in the world.
Alright then.
That was Marvel's noise. Yes. We're gonna go here. To Caed Nua. That's where the plot is. Okay, why can't each of my characters from a pet? No. With a lot of heads for a game that's 6 years old? Probably not. The cat's name is Buckethead? No, the cat didn't have a name. Because she didn't care about her cat, and for us it's just Black Cat. I think we would call it Buckethead if you'd like. You want to have a cat named Buckethead? Hmm. Remember how I joked about it crashing? I think it might have just crashed.
Oh no!
I know, there we go. Cool.
Alright then.
I was worried a few seconds. God. Not the biggest fan of Durance. Look, tell me, yeah, cat's name is Buckethead. Everyone hates Durance. You got a damn good point. It doesn't mean I don't like having him with us. Because he's a jerk. I'm gonna grab spells and copper to get extra spells. There you go. Because Albert is smart and he should know all the spells. something I forgot to do a little while ago is actually go through and say what spells are we learning. And this is Osra. We killed her for being a shitty necromancer and not caring about her cats. Yeah, you're right, Mako. I did some Googling. It is weird that the first 3 companions you get are all ladies, all dudes, right? And you want some more dudes. Just loaded up with sausage. Or the opposite. If you don't create a female watcher, you don't see one for a little bit. I've done some Googling about when it's the first one you get. And I will, not sequence break, but jump ahead a little bit to make sure we get there first. You know? Because I don't want to go without. Plus, they're my favourite companion in the whole game, so... Expansion. Yeah.
Alright then.
Black Meadow! What adventures ladies' nights. See, like, you can. It's not it's not a real defense. I hope you don't feel like I'm defending this decision. But you can create adventures pretty quickly, right? Ooh, troll. That's gonna be fun. Luckily, Durance will deal some fire damage with his staff. They have no historical significance. Exactly. Like, it's not a real defense because they're just going to be around and you won't get much from it. But at least you can have that. It's weird we're getting, like, mini freezes here. So I'm hoping that clears up soon. It certainly is frustrating that you can't. The first 3 characters. I mean, Bliska, but she dies, you know? And Hayden. Sure, Hayden also dies, but still. I created a rogue the first time I played through it almost immediately, so that one, there'd be an additional lady, and there were 2 of us, and so we'd have some, do mechanic stuff. Doesn't mean I missed, like, having a whole bunch of 5 companions who would, have story significance and things to say. Remember how I said that we would get rich, sell things, and go, first thing back, we'd go talk to this person? Well, guess what? We all forgot until now. That means I am solely responsible, given I'm the one who's actually steering. You want to buy some cool shit? Yeah. Same thing as last time, nothing new. What are we picking? A gun has a chance to charm. Very slow. That's so powerful. Already forgot this person. This is just salesperson that was like washed ashore, and I said that we would come back and buy some cool stuff because we got a little bit of money. And we did. So let's sell some of our junk. Calm down. Twitch, do not look at me like that.
Okay, so it wasn't just me that looked at you like that.
Because there's a lot of stuff we just don't need. Let's keep Justice, of course. It's a 2-handed sword named Justice. We've got to keep it. Don't need a rogue weapon. This one was alright, good share. It wasn't that great. So maybe let's keep it just for a little bit. I like keeping all the rares, A couple robes to sell. So we've got quite a bit of money coming back our way. We could use that. You shot me in the shoulder, I love it. Yeah. I'm glad you didn't forget about the merchants. I did. I'm just gonna rely on you. So we're gonna get 5,000. We have 5,000. I don't think we can get one of these cool uniforms and a cool weapon, so we're gonna pick one. So, a gold-fingered spike flicker, saber of the seas, or blunderbuss. Huh. I think think what we're gonna do is ignore the cat.
The cat.
The damage on Fulvana's blunderbuss is not very good. It's 8 to 12 piercing. So let's not take that. I was initially excited about the blunderbuss. You're totally right. It's just that my pistol, which has the same range, has a stronger interrupt chance, and deals more damage. It's just better, you know? I think let's take the Saber of the Seas, which has a chance to cast Overwhelming Wave. That's cool, right? We don't need that. And let's also get some cool light armor. Deflect. So yeah, of deflection of will exceptional. Of deflection of reflex exceptional. Of deflection. Yeah, okay. So of will, light armor, insect reflex. And now we're only giving you a little bit of money. Most of our money. And we're going to get 2 cool items. And we want to wear light armor because we're going to be at the back. We don't have any cool stuff. Give Adair a nicer saber. She uses sabers most of the time. Have a fine sword in case we need it. Let's do that. Yeah, there we go. I'm glad we can give ourselves a little bit of a break, even if it's not a sweet gun. Yeah, you know? It's a lot of gold at this section of the game to spend. And I am excited to see Adair with a sweeter gun. Sweeter sword. Oh, freeze. Okay. At least I know it's not going to crash whenever it does, so you need to chill. So we're playing fun this month. Hey, it's summer. Good to see you. Glad to have you along. Playing fun, not smart. I've already got a gun, that's all. Like, we've got the pistol, and that's going to be pretty funny as a chamber. I'll think about it. If we come into a large amount of money, right, we'll come back and buy the blunderbuss if we don't already have one. Just for the lols. I just feel like it was a noob trap, which is a shitty thing to say, but it just happened. Here we are again, looking directly into a hedge. Got a reload animation. The best thing is, as a chanter, you're still singing your songs. Oh, Jesus, they're not paying attention. And you start to die a little bit. Don't need that. Corrode damage to this soldier. Adair's doing okay, let's just knock down someone. We just had a first in combat down as well. That's a shame. Chanter works very well with guns because the whole time you're still like reloading or aiming, spending a bit of time doing it, you're still getting your phrases out. Casually dying. Marvel's gross sounds, yeah. Well, she's a gross dog in general, but can't blame her for it.
Got it.
Oh, I got some more drug too.
All right then. Hey.
Yes. Okay. So this is part of inspecting for the ship's shipment, right? To the blacksmith. Had a note. We need you to deliver our haul for permanent sale. He will not speak the words unless you know the words. He never only if you will only found with a gift after dark. Now that we've got the shipment, I bet we could probably go and make the deal, right? Now we can get rich. You want to do that? Kind of shit. I'm glad we're wearing a cool outfit now. I'm also kind of glad Darren's got hit in the face with a swollen eye when he rushed into melee combat with something he shouldn't have. Primordial. Aim this.
Francis!
But I think we can take it. Let's go.
Francis!
Got it.
Yep.
Huh?
What?
Unstealthy jokes. I love watching the gun go off. Stay away from the usual European fantasy jokes. Yeah, I agree, and I'm really glad they do as well. Not just because guns, right? It's interesting to have them.
Got it.
I love the idea that guns are primarily used as anti-wizard weapons as well, because they cut through magic armor real easily. Hey, Wildwood, good to see you. This guy just loves getting knocked down, doesn't he?
Yeah, no. It's back up again.
Got him. One more. Come on. Got him. Okay, cool.
Hey.
Yeah. I will admit to not knowing much about the Inuit and Southern American cultural things and how they worked into other sections of the world.
What?
It's just a point of ignorance for me, I'm afraid. But I do love the cultures when they come up. And I really love they're included for once. That's really important. God. You can only imagine even if you start your world building from like a standard slate, right? We all know what we're talking about. Starting in that position, at some point, the homogeneity is going to get really boring for you and your players, right? It's important to know that the differences aren't just playgrounds for you to run around in, but it sure as hell make you excellent knockdown for a dare. Sure as hell make your world feel more alive, and like people actually live in there. We're running around. We're doing a very CRPG thing of just walking around the map, finding everything, and stripping it bare, right? Shitty thing to do.
Hey.
We don't get backstory in these trolls. We get history entries, which is a hell of a name for it as well. What are they? Troll. These gangly giants stand twice the height of average humans. Their bodies are covered in large fungal growths which leak foul-smelling, pus-like fluid. Their oversized hands and feet extend in giant claws capable of rending a man in two. Dozens of slimy tendrils hang loosely from atop their oversized head, and their vast maws are filled with jagged, razor-sharp teeth. Yeah. We actually read this last week too. Thank you, Rebooting. That's awesome. Yeah, White the Wind is absolutely Inuit inspired, which is why it's pretty funny that we're a noble from there. I am excited to pick up a character from that area in the world so we can talk to them a lot, not just because, you know, they're lazy, but they're a lady. Troll racist, yeah, yes. We haven't completed the bestiary progress for Forest Troll, but we don't know whether they're sentient. No rest for the watcher. What is this? Hey, remember that story from the Explorer? Fulvano? It was like, I was near a dragon. I set someone else nearby to investigate some dragon's bones. Here are some dragon's bones. If I'm just talking randomly about the world, right? Morwicks. Now, I kind of am, right? I think it's worth mentioning how it's really shallow, but I like that you can't attack every tree to get something off it. It sounds ridiculous, but I like knowing that it allows me to think there's Fulvano's boots. Exactly. Remember, we put money on it. Do I have a mouse pad? I do have a mouse pad. Not really. You're gonna have to enlighten me as to why we're investigating the status of my mice. Yeah, extra health, extra endurance.
Huh?
Of course.
I like that there are trees. If you can't attack every tree to get some sort of reagent or crafting ingredient from it, it allows me to justify that the things that you're picking up as you wander around the world are the things the nature of the area can, like, spare, or you're kind of forced to say that you can't get everything. Oh yeah, here. Mass pads metal. It's made of brushed steel, and I've had it for years. As a sweaty boy, it allows me to not make a cloth mass pad really gross in like 2 weeks.
Time to see and not be seen.
Scroll of Summer Flame, Post of Summer Flame. Hey, we have burn damage. Yes, please. We use scrolls. Let's pick that up now.
Hey.
The spare bedroll is laid out listed, and there's no other sign of kit, except that guy who's dead. Great tragedy of D&D, like, you can't ever kill anything. Yeah. So he's like, yeah. Like, I actually kind of like that in Pillars you only get experience for killing things if you fill out the mystery. Yeah. Once we finish that 100%, got the last bit of this XP from the spear spuddling, there's no reason to not kill them. There's no reason to kill them anymore, ever. Except if, they're trying to kill you. Not a lot of point picking a fight with them. That's good too. Sorry, Loxy. Just being honest.
Indeed.
Hey.
Some gross noises from the wicks, that's for sure. Matt! Cool. I've been made aware when I was applying for jobs last year that I've got really bad visual acuity and visual knowledge. Like, my vision may be 20/20, but my 3D spatial reasoning and sense of direction too is really awful. Any one of those puzzles is like, here's a triangle, and it's got shape in it, and here's colors in one section, and this one, and here's another color, and rotate it 90 degrees, and then fill it in. I was less than 50% of the applicants for that job. It's just strictly terrible, right? And working under a lens of that, I've been made aware that I'm really bad at that sort of thing, and it's filling a couple of gaps. Like, why do I open the map every few seconds and go, yes, we're going in this direction, click in that direction, and go, where are we going again? And I can that a few seconds later, I'm just so bad at visualizing it in my head that I forget what we're doing. What would... Yeah, not better. Feel my scatter quality.
Time to see and not be
Sure,
seen.
it's a decent point, not better. It changes the framing to me. Understanding something by killing it is bad. We don't like that, right? We don't want that. But I like the thought that there is an endpoint to it, at least in some capacity. I've got a bad habit of grinding every now and then, so saying that there is an end is good. Yeah, Mika, you're totally right. It is something harmful, and is so for that reason, so you can negotiate with it. Like, I don't know. D&D is not the greatest thing for that, but it would definitely work. I'm going to go back to Gilded Vale for probably the last time in a little while. I'm going to deliver this last shipment of the metal that we just picked up. Yeah. Just that. Really getting perfectly. Yeah. Foxy, you're kind of right. Mass Effect was not great at that as well. That first part was pretty bad. Fundamental problem with game design of the whole thing, a killing mode. Yeah, Well, it was a video on Control by Curio. Shout out to them. They do amazing work. They're like, Control's really good. Amazing game. Love the things with it. But the verb you do is gun. Because it's still a video game and Remedy can write a fantastic story, but at some point it comes down to the fact that they are like, we're making a game, we made Max Payne, our game involved gun. So the first ultimate item you get is gun. Like, but how do I just wander around the Bureau Control and identify what's cool about it? Yeah, okay. At some point I'm like, that's not, I don't want to say that's a criticism the game is bad because of it, but if you're sold on word of mouth by saying this game is innovative, and the writing is really good, and it's really exciting, you're like, but gun. And if you're not interested in gun, then you're locked out of that game. Sorry. I loved it. It's on my list of games to play for the stream at some point, but your choices are limited. I could also make my computer die because it looked gorgeous and I'm also streaming. Well, I'm glad to hear, Lexi. Mass Effect Legendary Edition has been released, so you'll be able to catch a lot of people streaming it. In fact, I recommend Matt Wiggins from Loading Ready Run previously, who's currently doing it. Quaylog's sister and albino spider witch was very ill-blind alone because we realized that a killer sister primarily protecting all who figures out ability to do anything was a failing on these game designers. Quaylog's sister, albino spider witch. Oh yeah, Dark Souls, right, so I haven't played Dark Souls at all. I don't know, maybe I just don't think too highly of FromSoft, and I'm thinking since you don't have a voice, there are rarely any dialogue options that aren't about also obtaining an item or something, or like selling. Is that right? Carl looks like in Dishonored or Disco Elysium or whatever. Disco Elysium would be better. From what I know of Dishonored, like, again, your choices are primarily kill, not kill. At least in Control, nearly every time, if you're harming a person, it is an eldritch abomination that strictly wants to harm. That helps to me. That makes it slightly more interesting. Anyway. Well, glad you're up to Mass Effect 2. I haven't picked up Legendary Edition yet. I want to. What are we doing? We're playing video games. Let's head over to the crate and say, we found a shipment, because we're good people. Tuatanu reaches out to take the crate, raising it effortlessly onto the counter. His face splits into a broad smile. So you have. This is excellent here, so we can finally get back to work and show you real black hammer quality. None of these flimsy little swords. Got some experience. Here, I'll give you a taste. He ducks behind the counter and rises with a heavy wooden shield. Might not have had much in the way of materials to work with, but it's still black hammer craftsmanship. You go on and take that. Larder door. That's some coin for your troubles too. He's pleased it's written dims. Did you find anyone with the wagon? Bandits overtook the wagon. I doubt your people survived. Gil and I have not played this. I didn't say it's bad. I don't think anyone said it's bad. But you can tell us all about why you like it. I mean, that's fun, right? We can share those experiences together. Tuatano shakes his head, running a hand over his bald pate. Poor fools. Always telling them to hire some guard instead of harming extra coin. He sighs. I'll have to hire on more hands. Don't suppose you want to settle in Gilded Vale or some delivery work? He smiles thinly. I don't have a house here. Yeah, my thanks for your assistance, friend. Give me some time to work the forge, and maybe pick the next run of weapons. So I'll have to come back at some point, I think. Quest complete. Let's still not steal things. Let's get out of here. Well, let's go. I said we'll do man plot. Let's get on with it.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
Classic. Reference to Baldur's Gate. Not surprised it's in there, and I'm pleased it is too. Trying to get. Around to Galloway. Galloway's one of the gods. It's like black swath has been cut through here with 3 dragon corpses. Very odd. Climb further. The reason shop had grown up around the ancient bones, shrouding this monument to Galloway beneath their leaves. This map feels kind of empty. I think it's not a bad thing to have, right? I love that it exists. Even if we didn't come back here to find more information, it's fascinating enough that makes us want to. I don't like the black box style of game design or script writing or where everything means nothing and is there only for vibes. That's why I don't get on super well with music videos, I guess. There's a lot of it is vibes and feeling and tone, and not little substance. It's just the substance doesn't fit my narrative desire. Yeah, this bit of a map looks like it's connecting something to another. You're absolutely right? And I'm like, are we going to come back here? There's a shrine to Galloway. There's an edge, like an early quest here. There's a destroyed cart that we gathered some things from. But this swath of dragon bones, there's got to be something else here. And it stays on the map forever. We're not done here for the rest of the time. But we're just moving. We can go to Caed Nua now. But actually, let's see if we can leave to the south. I'll go to that bridge. Dragons do the burning. Dragons do burn. It's kind of their thing. That's one of their verbs. If a role-playing game that involved dragons did not include the phrase burn, you'd be missing something important. Reincorporate. Wildwood, you gotta tell me all about it, please. Reincorporate. Is that...
Wait. Seal.
I like the way they sound, I like the kobolds here. I don't like the standard position of the necessity of having entry-level sentient creatures to kill. I like using undead, I like using elementals, I like using animals that have been turned against people and you can help them out, generally by using regular combat, or even role-playing games. So much so that a player in one of my games actually asked, hey, can we fight some people soon? Because I want to argue with them, I want to tell them to back off, I want to fail to tell them to back off so we can have some dramatic combat. Like, yeah, alright, that's a good point. I've been denying you that part of role-playing, combat. Mainly out of fear that I didn't want to just slaughter kobolds. You know? I don't deserve it.
Alright then.
Stronger possibilities for introducing new things, but tying things back in and back together with... Yeah, Wildwood, you're exactly right. That is cool as heck. So if we do go back to the Black Meadow, what new things will we learn? What changes in that state of time? Control, yes please. A little bit more difficulty in the fight. Always care if it was a mistake, it always should be a mistake. You can't even say it's because of, like, the age in which the original D&D were written. It's just been a mistake and always was. Hey, Greg, good to see you. Yeah, do the work so it doesn't feel lazy. I'm spending too much time reading chat instead of actually fighting this troll, because I'm just excited to hear the things you're all saying. Which means, clearly, you guys are doing a great job. Look at that, that was a good hit. Come on. I think we're going to go for another knockdown just because I'm concerned about how... Yep, okay, now we'll finish it off, let's say. Watching that pistol go off is pretty fun too. There we go. You're here to distract, and you're doing it so well. You can tell when I alt-tab to scroll the chat up because I don't see the whole thing at once, because the game pauses the time. Almost got an unfair run, yeah. The thing is, making strong feelings about a video game with almost no screen time is, like, that's a very you thing to do, and we love it. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That's the trope of fandom, is to grab onto the things you really enjoy that are not explored enough, and then make your own context out of it. Let's notice about these characters are going to bake a pie together. Okay, shout out to the Critical Role finale. I was experiencing battle games only focus on their games. Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with like streamers who do it as their sole method of income, right? It makes me wonder about whether what are the skills involved are involved in streaming, and is it interacting with other people, or is it playing the game real well? Because I'm not doing that at all. Anyway, this person is sad about something. What's my luck? The woman mutters, kicking her foot into the ground and upturning a clod of soil. As you approach her, ears twitch and she turns to greet you. Hello, traveller, she goes with a half-hearted wave. The bridge to Defiance Bay is out. That's where you're headed, you'll need to find another route. What destroyed the bridge? The river has been rising on account of all the storms. Here where the arrows are flooding did the most damage. The older woman folds her arms, the scowl overtaking her face. Guess they don't make things to last around here, do they? The stone columns collapsed in flash flood, taking the whole middle section of the bridge out to sea. What's it called, Defiance Bay? I know! And it's by reading all the law books. It's because where the Dear Woodians beat off the Empire, held a decisive battle against the Empire, and now it turned into a major settlement, so it is Defiance Bay. They defied the Empire at that point. It was a turning point in that, not the Saints' War, for that. So the name stuck. Tell them how they beat them off with great aplomb and enthusiasm and damaged wrists. Landmark Bridge was the most direct route from Gilded Vale to Defiance Bay. Merchants and travellers now had to find boat passage or add days of extra travel to loop around the bay. Every class could be horny. Sam Riegel was definitely... So I started a ferry service, thinking I'd earn some coin and help others cross over to the bay. Peregrine shakes her head and her knees twitching as she speaks. And that was a bigger mistake than the time I allowed a cipher to court me. Mistake? How so? I had been attempting to turn a quick copper, but she bites her lip, her face turning flush with anger. Her face turning flush with anger. Just my luck. The plastic currents threw my ferry into the rocks. Dashed it, like my profits, to pieces. And making matters worse, when I went to prowl ashore to salvage whatever shipping rates didn't sink, a pair of looters attacked me. She stomps her foot into the ground. The damn brigands had the nerve to attack. I managed to avoid harm, but now they've stolen by force all that is left of my fortune. She eyes you for a long second, her hand cupping her chin. You know, you look like you'd fare better against those looters than little old me. Could I enlist your help? There are 4 of us. Several of us are armed. What's in it for me? You would make a good merchant. Peregrine blurts out with a laugh. Don't worry if you didn't inquire about your own profit motive. It's not always a bad thing to ask. A lot of video games and CRPGs specifically make asking for a reward a bad thing. If we needed it, we kind of do. We just spent all our money on something. It wouldn't be a bad thing to say, if I'm going to give you material wealth, what can you do for me? And it shouldn't be, I'll keep away from you unless you give me all of your money, but we can ask. Nice to serious, nice to see you. This one here? My favourite, had a few years. Every class can be horny. Equal horny rights, absolutely. I've played a lot of horny sorcerers, that's my favourite. And horny fighters are the best. Got that strength and con, maybe a bit of dex. Beautiful night. She scratches her ear, blushing as she speaks. I'm a bit destitute at the moment, but I have a shop over at Defiance Bay. You help me recover my merchandise, I'll sell you whatever you want. Alright. Thank you. I'm sure those times I made a mess of my stock and made something to say. The ragamuffin in the Wander home cannot be horny. Tell me about Wander Home and the ragamuffin, please. We can't get information about why Defiance Bay is named that at this point. If we read all the books, we probably could. Got more NPCs. Kickstarter back NPCs as well. Any class or character is horny. I'll do my best. Someone shops. Storyteller tells a story. People fight for essentially no reason.
Looks like we'll be taking the long way to Defiance Bay.
Yep. That's damage rise. There's a ragamuffin Mr. Child. Right, I believe that one. That's a good answer there, Wildwood. That's very reasonable indeed. Soldier does soldiery things. No. It's like it's yeah. So again, that writing is highly variable because it's Kickstarter backer writing. You don't want to do too much editing. I understand. But in the end, it adds texture to the world and it's important to have. But they're by no means mandatory, right? Engage. So they can't run past. It is different 5 levels, so the looter can't engage with one person at a time.
You're not getting through me.
We'll deal with it this way. Okay, now finish. Fight, they're running over. I'm gonna go through a little faster if we focused from one character, it's not worth doing. Does horny mean something else for the series? No, we're just talking about horny because we're all roleplayers. And that's a common theme, especially the trope is a horny bard or a particular character class. We're saying that it doesn't have to be, you know? We can start a backstory as a very baby's first RPG character? Absolutely. Yeah, they're all very extra, and I don't think we need to lose that. The very extra characterization is fine as long as you also, like, give space for other players. Alright. Points to you. Wildwood, I think you've got a point there. It's fun, though. Even if you're just role-playing it. Handwin. Gathered around the soggy timbers of a shipwreckage, men and women pick through the driftwood, snatching muddy silverware, mouldy clothes, chipped pottery, and anything I can spot amongst the detritus. All eyes turn to you as you approach. The group trade never stares at you until at last a woman in muddy clothes steps forwards and speaks. "Where are Bretel and Terran?" she asks. "They were just up that path and we heard fighting." Her eyes narrow and her hand moves towards the knife in her belt as she anticipates your reply. "This is how you could do attack on sight and fights until death. Interesting." Well, but exactly, I would think you were true, but like, a streamer telling a commentary in the chat that they're a liar is not correct, right? I have listened to your Monster Hearts game, to your podcast. Did it successfully, right? But, yeah, I wasn't going to call you out. I knew you'd remember, or it's not that important. My point was, this could be an attack on sight. If this is a problem in adventure paths, written by Paizo, especially Wizards of the Coast, where there'll be interesting episodes with intriguing backstories, have attack on sight, and then fights until death, just in their stat block, so you will never find out what they're actually supposed to tell the players. So all that writing goes to waste? Thank you, Wildwood. I'll be gentle. Here is an example of a scenario where that would be interesting. 2 people charge at you, refuse to talk. They started as enemies. We had no way to stop them from attacking, and in this game there's no way to stop combat unless things are dead, right? Or it triggers something. We then go speak to someone that's like, you just did something bad. We could say in that defense, they attacked us. And we will. You killed them? This could feel like you're pulling a rug out from under your players. Do this thing. You did the thing. How dare you? Feel bad about it. But if your group is kind of group where some characters want to fight immediately, and some characters want to talk, you could have the characters argue at each other about what you just did, right? That's interesting. That's dialogue. That's fun. Hannah looks up, wiping her eyes. "You speak of self-defense? Well, we are defending ourselves from this storm." Her voice rises and her face grows flushed with emotion. "The floods took our entire farm. We had nothing left. Nothing. No food, no roof, and now we don't even have my cousins." She throws her hands up in despair. "We don't want to fight you. We've lost enough already. Please, just leave us." What do we want to do now? Tell them that we came here investigating missing cargo and we took them for looters? Or, in fact, just accuse them of stealing? Can't believe we're a cop. I'm sorry. She blinks in disbelief. Looting? But this is a wreck. What value does it have? The men and women all turn to her, their faces frightened and worried. Please, we need these supplies daily. The storm took everything from us. It's not our desire to steal, but we are destitute. Should we just let these wares sink to the ground? What the fuck? Right, number 3 is terrible. 2. Exactly. A few seconds while I scroll through chat, and please tell me. 2? They did attack us on sight, you know? That's what happened. So, 3 is terrible, right? And as Wildwood said, a massive cop, right? Can I help? Perhaps you could tell a merchant you found nothing beyond bits of driftwood. From her point of view, it will be as if the river washed it all away. Besides, how much copper will she really make by selling rotting clothes and soiled wares? Alright, I'm not choosing to, that's a dick move, but why would they looters? The structural inequality in the kingdom determine the real monsters atop the hierarchy. Like, again, yes, and that's not surprising. We understand the monarchs in essentially every situation are jerks. They specifically said that they are looters because the floods took their farm. Thank you, she sighs, wiping sweat from her brow. You're the first turn of good fortune to come our way in a very long time. Helen snaps her fingers at one of her comrades and points at the pile of supplies drying in the sun. We don't have much, but take this as a token of our thanks. I don't want it. It's okay. Less interested in playing with teenagers, especially sex involved, and it's a big part of it. Yeah, cool. You don't need to change it. Absolutely fine. You know? Fade into the rope drifts forever. We could technically steal from this and probably will. There's nothing in it. Cool. We gain an item from its hat. So its hat. Immunity can use an extra intellect. Hell yeah! What's going on, Elf? Enjoying a stupid hat? I'm sorry about losing your other stupid hat. Let's make Julian's wearing a stupid hat. Oh, but yeah, let's check out this door. Large shield, deflection, accuracy, and bash. Well, 16-8. 16-8 with bashing 2. I know you look silly, too bad.
Hey.
Shows your pronouns to study name. That's awesome! Thanks, Maker. I'm absolutely going to recommend everyone do that, and I'll install it in just a minute. I don't tell this person that all this stuff's gone. It's just fair. Peregrine bounces an offence at your approach. My helpful stranger returned. Have you managed to find anything yet? Even if all you found is driftwood, just knowing that those they deserve moisten my breeches. Looters. Word. It's actually a very political word because white people aren't called looters that often. Don't know if the game does understand that though. It favors against those reluctant to commit the material of the high society and will overread Lepsis' readings. No. No, right? No. I don't know what to do to fix that, really. Write better games, but I'm not interested in game design at this point. I'm very happy just casually doing things. I'm sorry. Washed away. She kicks her foot in the dirt sometimes. I figured just as much. Thank you for your assistance. I suppose I need to figure out how I'll recover my investment. At last, her foot stops kicking and she lets out a long sigh. Thanks for trying. If you find yourself in Defiance Bay, search out my shop. I'll need all the customers I can get. She's still got a shop. She could lose some stuff. Moistens my breeches. Yeah. Sploosh. Disco Elysium bit of fantasy game. That's gonna happen now. Disco Elysium had massive appeal across multiple sectors. You'll now have publishers' investments because capitalism in a game that would be a fantasy Disco Elysium. The unacceptance of risk in creative development stifles a lot of brilliant actual decent artistic works. People's inacceptance to understand that risk happens and losing capital isn't the worst thing if you come out with artwork, even if it's not commercially successful. So, we're at Caed Nua. Since Take a breather. It's a heavy game. We expected it. We take a minute and check in with each other and install that plugin and get our pronoun shot, because that'd be great. Thanks again, Mecca. See the music changes here because we're no longer exploring just any area, we're exploring Caed Nua. And we have another party member. Just off the side of the path into Caed Nua stands an imposing figure, a tall, thick-set Walmart clad in a worn armour and peering up at the outer walls of the keep. In his hand is a small piece of charcoal, and it works feverishly taking notes upon a small scrap of paper. More than once he has to reach up to prevent his colourful cap from falling off his head as he gazes upward. Maybe people want to articulate an actual political awareness. Superficial or trump into Disco's thing. Yeah, the cynical nature about the AAA industry. Yeah, absolutely. And Disco wasn't AAA game. It's fine. Things on Kickstarter are more likely to have this sort of reputation. I like that in Pillars 2, all of the factions that you start the endgame with have their downsides. One of them is explicitly a colonialist company, and you see everything wrong they're doing and have plenty of characters tell you that they are a bad thing, but they're still invested in the idea of choice and letting you join them anyway. Several people are just like, not doing it, but if you do that, I'm not joining you. That's fair. Alright. Oh, what are you doing over there? The man looks over at you, blinking in surprise. His face splits in a wide and very toothy grin. He waves a parchment in greeting.
But the truly interesting part is
Sorry.
in there. And I haven't had much luck in reaching the keep itself. I hoped to find the master of this place, a man by the name of Mayorwald.
Same as us.
But it seems that he either holds his privacy most dear, or else has been devoured by his house guests.
So, because of my diggy mouse, he clicked over some dialogue. I'm sorry about that. It was killing time, if I'm honest. I've already walked the perimeter twice. Their own names scratched on some of the bricks, just there. Workers, masons, I expect. Carving a little immortality for themselves. He looks up at the wall again, expression fond. It's a fine keep, Caed Nua. 2 centuries to his name, and abandoned for nearly as long. Truly interesting part, isn't there? Yeah. Thanks for rebooting. Okay, so like, yeah, we can be looking for Mayorwald as well.
Truly? Then perhaps we can help one another. The grounds are infested with all manner of beasts. I've never seen the like. I didn't want to risk it alone, but you seem capable. Together, I'm sure we could manage it. And then we can both ask our questions of Mayorwald.
Like they have good and bad news.
I seek a great treasure, you see. Not gold or silver, but the Tanvi Oratoa. You might call it the Book of Virtues. It's a sacred text of the Rauatai, but we possess only a fragment of it.
I will befriend this man. That's the good news.
A year I've journeyed in search of the rest, and I uncovered evidence that leads me to believe the original lies just there, beneath the keep.
News is that he's a chanter. And I don't want to double up on classes. So he'll come with us and he'll hang out at least until we have someone to replace him. In our adventuring party. We'll still hang out, still check the Connor. I like Connor. Great character. But we're a chanter as well. So, tell me, we must find it. Let's find your thing. That's awesome.
Excellent. Lead on, my friend, and I will be at your heels. Ah, wait. Speaking of that, I ought to warn you first. Wondrous teeth, I nearly forgot. I have, at times, been followed. It began in Adir, and in Exometal they attacked outright. I believe they do not wish for me to find what I am looking for.
Followed.
I say believe, but I have been told as much by one of my would-be assassins. I pay them little mind. Humorless sorts in long robes. But it's why I bought the sword, you see. And it's only fair that you should know.
What are a few assassins between friends, eh, Connor?
I'm glad you're not discouraged. Come then. Who knows what we will find inside?
Okay. We'll take him for his personal quest. Of course we will. We're going to do everyone's personal quest. They're people, they're characters, but they are people and they're important to us. Well, nothing will not do it. Super chat. Yeah, we'll have 2 channels on board. What does he have? Right? We can edit his chats. At the sight of the comrades, their hearts grew bold, and blesses would wing grip quickest of his pride. Come, come, soft winds of death. Let's make it so our chants don't overlap. Can I do that? Let's just do that instead. And put that there. And we're good. We have a lot of the heart of comrades. And if we start combat at the same time, Hana should do, let's go this one, then this one, then this one. Then perhaps that one again. Now they'll overlap for the least amount of time. Corey, yeah, 2 cheerful, let's do it. Only good game of Nier Automata. Yeah, I should probably play Nier, couldn't I? Oh, even though I've done all the race and fun of OC14, I didn't understand much of what's going on. Past this sort of main quest only, at least 2 lady companions. Yes, you're exactly right, rebooting. And Mako, I intend to get a femme companion tonight. We're going to not sequence break, do things in a bit of an unintuitive order so that we can get my favourite companion as soon as possible. One shadow cask still smelled faintly of ale, long spilled into the dirt. This is Caed Nua. Interesting old castle. Do you want a femme companion? I mean, if it took too long, I would just create one out of sheer spite, because we shouldn't go too long without it. I think that's probably why the first companion you pick up in Pillars of Eternity 2 that doesn't come from the first is fair. Like, very fair, surely.
With cobwebs in every crack. It reminds me of Woodica.
Maybe defend him and then he unavoidably dies? That would suck. Jeez. Luckily not that bad. Shadow. Kinda also starts with a rifle, which is super dope. Oh my god.
Let's have it out!
We both hit our 3 phrases at the same time. Reduces damage reduction, and we'll do our increases damage dealt, right? Just to really mess them over. 2 of them together would really deal quite a lot of damage to enemies.
What?
Of course.
So that's enough. It's just such an evocative design, really. Like a black shadow that is dripping like a quote. Many weeds grow in this dusty patch. Durance is looking unwell. He's hit in the eyes, lost a lot of health as well. But I'm inclined to let him suffer. Just a little bit. Luxy. Tangled wires and broken slitters lead to boxes.
Leave it to me!
Phantom! This is the worst version of a shadow! I kind of like the incredibly video gamey thing of like, there's these creatures, and then another creature that is very similar, but slightly more powerful. It's really video game, but it's just fun. One side of this pillar is graven with hundreds of whorls and ridges, and a layer of grime and moss. The attributes. Yeah, we're doing great. Fucked earth. This trapdoor has been built by the elephants. Tugging at the rusted handle only produces a heavy rattling. Small flame light. That's new? Fire elemental, maybe?
Got him!
Durance, you're not going to be very good here, are you, buddy? Let's do some freeze damage.
Beyond sea.
That worked! Get him!
Of course.
What?
It is not looking so good either. He took a big hit. I don't know when. We may take a rest before we go inside. Can't I go? We didn't have to fight the Will-O-Wisp at the same time, right? confused. Cool. Just walk away from the confused person. You don't need to hit them. Everyone's having a bad time. You just give them a minute to rest, okay? Look after a day.
Leave our village! We've done nothing to you!
No rest for the Watcher.
You can't do this!
Spectral smoke turns all around you. First you can see nothing except the haze. Gradually you make out the wizened, hunched shape of an old elven man. His face and bones and arms are smeared with paint. You can't do this, he shakes, spitting the words at you. Just listen.
This is our village, our home! The Nine Claws have lived here almost 50 generations. We were here long before your kind brought war to our lands. You can't just burn it all!
Can't tell whether you're squinting through the smoke and scowling at you.
Have mercy, soldier! Our warriors have all gone! You can't burn us all because of them!
After a pause, he draws back and gapes at you with horror, seemingly in response to something you didn't actually say, but the illusionary tongues of flame flickered on a zero vision. He reaches out to you, and he opens his mouth to say something, but all that emerges is a series of violent coughs. He falls to his knees, choking in the thickening smoke. Flames overtake the vision as you back away. No rest for the Watcher. We see souls and spirits. We cannot stop seeing them. That was close. We're just doing the very RPG thing again of clearing the area before we go in.
Faith, sealness, need.
Gives them endurance. Endurance kind of looks like a wizard with that hat, right? Kibble. I mean, well, it is down. This is what we get for being too risky.
Stand still!
Let's go!
Kana, I hope you're good with that gun. We're gonna need it. Come on! Nice. You can leave.
Hey.
The guy's okay. He just is maimed. Alright, let's take a nap. Video games. It's such a fancy magic. Coined in terms of Jack Vance, the way the Broken Earth series worked and cast spells. The wizards could cast like 1 or 2 spells a day, and then no like 6, and that's really cool, you know. And then the spells would burn themselves in their mind. Dead guard bed. Yeah, exactly. We'll click it again, and it wasn't just going to sleep, it was the forgetting the spells and casting them, burning them out of your brain. And when you had too many spells in your mind, you could think of nothing but the magic. And that turned into a very video gamey, like, spell slots in original D&D. The way they turned out over time is moving further and further away from that with more and more spells, and I don't hate that, it's just the spells per day is less interesting than these spells take up space in your mind. Depressing lore about this. No, not that we can tell. Spoiler alert, but there is, later. A little bit. Look. At least something cool's done. The sour odors of rancid grain and spoiled fruit permeate the air. Dust and rusted utensils cover the countertop. Good music in here. Luckily, it hasn't been sold to the band, yeah. Shelves creak under the books, many of the covers are mottled with mildew. Hopwood's find the remains of a broken alembic, packed mortar, and various shattered bottles and vials to the pavement. The candle is still lit. You know, sometimes people are like, rebooting Luxie. Bringing it hilarious, that's so good. I don't mind when people are like, you lit all the torches in Skyrim. The place looks awful without it, man. I mean, it feels like you're Cinema style poking at it. I like the third blade. I want the question to have an answer like magic. That's it. That's all that matters to me. Rats skitter along the broken stairs. Good, man. I mean, we're not used to them. We have those stairs. Rats, get on. Just rats are terrifying. They'll bite you if you poke them. Leave them alone. My instinctual response may be, go ahead and poke that rat. Similar to a snake. I'm like, fuck, there's a snake there. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to hurt the bastard. They're in my house. It's probably this wall. I can't share because you might bite me and we don't speak the same language. But I don't. Yeah. All those candles can still be lit in that temple. Yeah, also true. But they pulled attention to it at that point, right? And that was really cool. I'm glad they did. The dark here. Whatever. Maybe Aethys lights all the candles. It didn't have added the old one. We're here. We're in the keep seems abandoned. There are spirits here, so we're in Gilded Vale. Creatures too. Seems we'll have to explore further if I'm to find what's within. Let's.
You think he'd be mad if we sat in his chair? I mean, he doesn't have to know.
Oh, dear, I love you. Whispers of Yenwin. Reliable, slaying spirit, up constitution of will -3. A cursed sword. Can want something not in the same place without wishing you don't kill. Yeah, exactly. Like in spiders. I don't want to kill spiders, I don't want to see them. I don't like huntsmen, and I know I should. They're terrifying to me. It's a real sword. Curse a real sword. What kind of sword? A real one. Mentally paralyzes the target. 5 characters class level intellect resolved, but extra strong, just even more easily paralyzed or mentally hit. His blade covered with graceful grandfather engravings. The Whispers of Yenwood was once the sword of the first Road Warden of Caed Nua. When the Earl of Yenwood appointed Caerford Eadhart, the young lord feared the spirits that rumoured to dwell underneath the young castle's foundation. He spent a sizable sum to have the black mirrored steel blade forged, shipped to the Eastern Reach for engraving by the Earl's Glenfarthen's slave artisans. Terrible! Slaves are bad! An enchanted new dungeon. There has to be a spider. I want to know where it is. No, I don't want to see him. I'd rather have them invisible. Home spider's incident for Bone Plebia. Yeah. Caerford is known to have used the sword in the Battle of Olgarin to help the neighbouring Raedrix suppress an uprising in Gilded Vale. Also banned! Don't do that! Why are they uprising? Possibly for a good reason. Remember, a lot of the Raedrix were pretty shit. Over time, Caerford began to believe that the sword had been cursed by the Glenfarthen artisans who decorated it. Maybe don't keep them as slaves. He confided in those close to him that he thought the spirits of it were talking to him through the blade while he slept. -3 will. One evening, against the pleas of his wife and soldiers, a maddened Caerford carried the sword deep into the misty woods of Air Glenfarth. His body was never recovered, but the next road warden, the Earl assigned to Caed Nua, found it waiting for him on the throne in the keep's hall. None of the soldiers could explain how the sword had appeared there. No road warden has carried a sword since that day. We will! Love a cursed sword.
Seal me.
Alright, then.
Sorry, yeah, I wanted you in the center. Alright. So, again, if your magic items are interesting, you want them to explain why is it cursed? What does the curse do? What? I asked the question of a Facebook role-playing group a while ago, where I'm like, what is a will save? What does it look like? Because I personally am very bad at being in a shopping market, in a supermarket, looking at a chocolate bar and going, I don't really need that chocolate bar. Ooh, that's a new type of chip. I'm buying that new chip. I'm going to taste them. And I'm possibly not going to enjoy it so much, but
Alright, then.
I still want to taste it. Real bad at resisting it, right? Is that a will save? Not buying the chips? Sometimes I feel like I'm not really choosing to buy the chips, they're just there. Is that a will save? Is a will save something else entirely? Extremely weak against chippies. Yeah. Take a penalty. Is that will? Is that a will save? Or is it something else? Sometimes it feels like an intelligence failing, so I'm like, I know I don't really want these, I'm going to get them anyway. Will save. Yeah. I'm glad we're bidding. Because otherwise, will saves are generally very often used against like charm effect, where a spell whispers into your mind like this person is your friend now. Those will saves, it doesn't feel like the same sort of thing. Resisting someone messing with your head feels like a different problem to resisting someone telling you buy the chocolate. Right? It feels different to me. I know it's not, but it's for me. Anyway. Let's read some Stuart dialogue. As you come to the end of the Great Hall, you perceive an inviting warmth radiating from a grand throne wrought out of marble. Its masterful artistry at place amidst the castle's more practical stonework. The very face of the woman is carved above the throne's backing, watching over the room with columns. As in your approach, you feel the warmth fluctuate, as though stirring. A voice rings out from the carving, permeating the fortress through stone and air.
Another watcher in Caed Nua, glowing very brightly indeed to these eyes. What strange happenstance.
Who's that speaking?
I'm sorry if I startled you. I'm afraid my manners have been slipping. I haven't had much opportunity for introductions lately. In any case, I assume you're here looking for Mayorwald.
Okay. I'd like to go with 3. Are you imprisoned in that throne? She didn't answer a question. You're totally right. Who's speaking? Oh, no. Are you imprisoned?
Imprisoned? At times it feels that way, I suppose. But it's more that I reside here. The throne was brought up from the ruins. One of the first things they found. As a last favor to a dying woman, the Earl arranged for me to be moved into it. Audra is an accommodating vessel for a soul.
No, Jimbles, you're totally right. I like this character. None of the options answer me spooky voice. Yeah, good point. Right? At some point, you're like, I can't just yell at this. I've used delineation with me. Resisting someone's charm is charisma, says itself, and resisting the chips would be wisdom or intelligence. Yeah. Recruiters of the party. Yeah, I'll do my best. They are a statue. She, I think. I don't think she gives pronouns. Should normalize that. I'd love to see a role-playing game, CRPG with just like, perhaps not even mentioned in dialogue. Recently I wrote a story. I debated with myself because there was a mask character who used they them pronouns. They are a villain. They essentially started a bit of dialogue to distract them and then started fight. I wrote a long fight scene for me, whatever. But the whole point, and I'm not going from an omniscient narrator position. So I was like, how do the characters, would the characters assume the gender and pronouns of the person they're fighting eventually to kill, like fairly quickly? And I'm like, they might not know, but the assumption's wrong anyway, so I just defaulted to, let's just not be a dick and make it as nice as possible, so I'm going to use they them for this enemy. Not the only non-binary person. That would be typecasting pretty bad. But someone could say, yeah, but they didn't tell you the pronouns, so you could assume that they're masculine use he, him. I'm like, that's just not as good. That feels more awkward. I don't want to do that. When in doubt, lean on less of a dick. So it would be cool if there was a CRPG or other computer game where they just say, Stuart, she, her. And you're like, but I never asked. Well, so what? It's just there. It's the same way you don't spend 3 minutes looting a body to get every coin out of their pockets. Some things are just made easier. And we deserve that. Pronouns should be easier on everyone. More normalized task. Anyway, shit. Really distractible tonight.
Oh, it's not as confining as it seems. I can feel the whole keep from here, and all things that are tied to it. There's something about this throne and its construction. Or maybe it's something about this place.
Okay. Well, which shows more to ask you. Any idea where I can find Mayorwald?
I can feel his presence faintly somewhere deeper inside the keep. But he uses his gifts to confound me, and my senses are dulled while he does so. I only wish I could know his mind.
Tell me more about Mayorwald.
He was a great man. He came here one day, young with long hair and polished armor, and he banished the dark things that had come to lurk in this place after centuries of neglect. He could see the beauty of this place, the way it had been. So he claimed it for his own when no one else would take it. We worked together to restore it.
Remember, we're here to talk to Maywell because he's a watcher. That's the only reason we're here. He may know something about this condition that has been foisted upon us.
But he began to grow distant some time ago.
Shit.
He never told me why. He retreated deeper and deeper into the keep, never leaving, sending servants for food, hiding himself from my sight. The restoration stopped. Now, to look at the place, you'd never know the progress we'd made. In most places, it's worse than it ever was. And all I can do is watch it crumble around me.
Sad, spooky chair.
Take care in your search. Many dangers lie in wait here.
Warning us specifically. A nice spooky chair, but we can't go further in the game without speaking to it at this point. Good. It's pretty fairy bidding. It's a good move. Totally. Nothing in there. That's interesting. What could that mean? Later. Somebody can do for you, spooky chair. I mean, we can't even ask. It's a little weird. Stone brick. With bad things inside. With two people using guns, it's just kind of funny that we immediately like, of course, thank you, enemy. We could ask some questions and then only option. Okay, bye. Yeah. Spiders and take out residents in the empty shelves. Will not describe the spiders. Not much else here, huh? And this map shows the deal with its old colonial borders. A new settlement called New Dunnet is marked in place of the present day Defiance Bay. I feel like we're just too caught up. I mean, it would fit if we didn't do any side quests and we ran directly to Maywell to get more information about being a watcher, right? Then Brazil's chains are rigid with rust. Grey and brown pelts of mice flit between the boards. If we ran here immediately and did no side quests and went, okay, we need to get the information about being a watcher right away, then I feel like it would make more sense that we don't ask any more questions. It feels as if cobwebs are the only things holding this rickety old mess together. You may have heard a tiny cat meow from another cat. Something has made a mess out of the old straw mattress ticking. Go. It was me. I made that list. Congrats, Loxy. You gonna invite us over for a housewarming, or where'd you with the rest again? Spirit named Mother.
Been out playing soldier again, have we? Go wash up and come help me shuck these peas.
As you draw nearer, the apparition in front of you resolves into an elven woman. Her stringy hair is tied back, and she tugs at a loose thread from an apron. There's a distant hollow look in her eyes until she notices you. She turns to me long enough to produce a basket that, like her, is shimmering and semi-transparent. And no complaints. You've got to eat your vegetables if you want to grow up strong and be a real soldier one day. Just like we agreed, right? She watches you out of the corner of one eye. What are you talking about?
Soldiers are important people. They defend the weak and punish the wicked. You're too young to understand now, but there are lots of wicked people. People like the man who murdered your father.
Remind me what happened to my father.
Before you were born, the Glanfathans attacked settlers like us. They said we'd knocked over some of their special Adra rocks. That's why they call it the Broken Stone War. They got very angry, and so they came into our villages and killed many people. Your father was one of them.
Pod slips out of her grasp, and out of her grasp, and she jabs the side of her finger with the jagged thumbnail. She says nothing as the skin slowly turns from white to red. He was one of the people the Glanfathans killed? That's what I said. Voice low, also her hands frozen over the basket. Something dark and empty glides over her eyes.
That's why you'll be a soldier one day. To protect and to avenge. Why don't you go back out and play? I'll finish up here.
If you want your powers to mean something, if you want Speak with Dead to have an impact, Speak with Dead in the D&D sense. That scene bothers you? Yeah, you're right, rebooting. This part is dark. Content warning for some real dark shit, right? Forest of War, Soul, sadly. So, but the world is dark itself. I wish they put content warnings in video games. It's just not done, and there's no reason for it not to be done. I don't know why. Just accept it, but you know. I wish. Yeah, this one. This one deals damage to enemies.
Let's have it out!
Even though it is kind of dark, I like the fact that it's hinted at and not stated outwardly. Right? We need some sort of... We want some sort of thing that says, this is why being a Watcher is very bad. We've had a little bit of time with a previous Watcher, Space Spider, that was like, yeah, I got killed because I tried to come and help, but we haven't had anyone state this is exactly why it's a real bad thing. What are the stakes now? Something's happened to us, it's bad. We know that much. But what's going to happen afterwards? Yeah. Yeah, thanks for reading.
Yes. I shall deal with this one.
I also think you were able to not ask the question directly.
How may I help?
Should, right? It's an important part. The dwarf woman on the tree, I think she was a Watcher. It's that she was definitely an Animancer. I believe she was both. But, you have a good point. I'm not sure about that anymore.
New orders, Lieutenant. Ready your squad.
Silver trails of slugs gleam into barrels. We have a dungeon here. Dwarf woman was Animancer, but it seemed like it wasn't watching me. Hey! Well, it's been a couple of weeks, so I've probably forgotten, but yeah. Spectral man arrayed in armor and an officer's cloak studies a single sheet of paper. You can see straight through it to the ducal and avian insignias on his breastplate. He seems to read over the page several times before looking at you. When he does, his expression is unreadable.
There's been a change of plans. Take your squad and march south all the way to the bow in the river. Bring a wagon team and a dozen barrels of pitch.
His voice falters and he shakes his head and holding the papers drops to his side. Doesn't matter if we listen or tell him about the orders. He's replaying a memory. Doesn't matter what we do here. Unless we wander off, it's going to be the same.
The instructions come from Admet Hadred himself.
Sorry, Luxie.
Which means they might as well have come from the Duke. We're to burn those hut dwellers out. Set fire to the deerwood so they've nowhere to retreat. Cut them down when they come out. Or let them blaze if they won't.
Ghostly sigh forms mist in front of his lips.
It'll make this even shorter than the broken stone war, all right. And we can only hope it'll discourage future conflicts.
Maybe we'll see what Watchers can do soon.
I know this is personal for you. It is for many of us. But understand, we're doing this to end this war, not to continue the last one. Remember that we're flushing out the enemy, not burning villages for sport. Bareth will have his work cut out for him tonight.
We met someone whose village was burnt, not for sport, upstairs. This is one of the problems. How does those go for you? Like, it's sort of the problems with organized hierarchies where you're not explicitly allowed to request. You're not requesting consent with actions. I know that some military traditions that are more anarchist than a current hierarchical one involves the idea that if you're involved in a war team, you do elect someone to lead you in combat, but they're leading by consent. And at any point you're like, I don't trust you anymore. I don't trust that direction. You're not helping me do this, and you leave. Kill. Exactly. Marvelous prevent further violence. When does that ever work? It just doesn't. It's like farming. It's like funding militia groups. It separates colonial divides. It makes part of your job easier, but it's just a shitty thing to do. Mutiny, and that's bullshit a lot of time. Yeah, because we don't. All of our military structures do not work by consent. You serve your right to object, and except under very specific circumstances. And then if you do, and you leak to the press, you get a trial by the media. It's awful, right? It's bad. We know this is bad. The game itself isn't telling us this is. You should feel bad about this, but it might help once in a while to say this is fucked up. It's a terrible thing to do. Scott is rough for splinters. And as regretful as he is, he's still giving an order to someone who's not able to say no. So, mechanics. We're at 5, so we'll have to spend a little bit of time. Lock.
We'll take those farmers by surprise.
Hi, Raider.
Almost time. Di and Heather scouted the village last night. They're rounding up the rest of the party now.
Northerman turns the face through his cheeks, his forearms, and the palms of his long pointed ears are smeared with indigo and blue paints. He grins wickedly beneath the thatch and wild hair. Say nothing.
Don't worry. Everyone remembers the raid was your idea. The Rio had to go along with it after you'd gotten the rest of the clan riled up. No one wants it said that the Nine Claws were too cowardly to stand with the rest of the tribe when the foreigners desecrated our ruins.
So this is not in relation to the commander right before. This would be the beginning of the Broken Stone, right? 3 different time periods are happening as we talk to these spirits. Corey, yeah, right. Valis doesn't determine who was right, it determines who was left. You know, we've heard that all the time. It's a pithy statement. It makes sense. North and south of Pact Brothers involved Dominionship was entirely justified to cut us awful, like beating sailors who couldn't go back to England to be court-martialed. Yeah. Rebooting. I don't know what north and south is, but yeah, that makes sense. That's how that worked. Loxy, the green face and loading screen. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Like, that ties into Tana's quest a lot, and you'll learn more about it in a bit. We can see a book about unions. Okay, awesome. If you want to drop a link to it, not saying you have to, but if you want to drop a link to it in the chat, I think that'd be great. And Loxy, awesome. Okay, so. Again, doesn't matter what we say, he's going to say the same thing. But I want to know. The ragged strips of paint on his face twisted as he laughed. You may not like them, but they're still our elders, for now. A dead grey tooth pierced from between his lips. I was clever drawing the support of the community first, but by the time you approached the Riau, they had no choice but to support us. There's no doubt you'll join their ranks one day, so long as no farmer's pitchfork fails you tonight. He laughs. He reaches towards your cheek, stops midway, his splayed fingers quivering as a tremor of doubt runs through him. He drops his hand to his side instead, wearing a notched blade from his belt. You were right. We were too soft when foreigners first came. Now they humiliate us. We'll be soft no more, and the invaders will learn to leave us alone once and for all. It's lockpick. We only got 3. Let's do it. Quest updated. Watch it. What was that? Find mail. Spirit tuned in the throne. Open the way down. I bet he's in there. We're going to do a very video gamey thing and continue exploring instead. Oh, I have to wait for it. More spiders. I said earlier that I ran into trouble with that player where we were fighting monsters too often and not people you could talk to and have a rational discussion about why we wanted to hurt them, right?
Hey.
What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah?
I just...
As you say.
It's from computer RPGs, you know? These are monsters, they will harm. It's simple. Thanks. We should play with Buckethead. I wish we could. The only thing we can do is just have him to chill with us, right? It's not even a chat, like type /pat or something. Ooh, on deflection +5. Hey, that reminds me. Don't give Connor anything cool. And they've got a neat hat. +1 intellect. And a 5 my stuff. That's it. Well, how about we give you a cool cloak? Although now we've got at least one cool cloak. Of will, of deflection. That'll do for now. You don't need any of these other items.
Hey,
Usually stealth in dungeons and I'm not now and I don't like. Just being lazy, I guess.
leave it to me.
Beating up kobold. Feeling bad about it. We'll play patting Buckethead. Oh, BH, what a good little kitty. What a good kitty. I thought I could take you away from the mean owner. Just didn't give you any pets and didn't care if, you know, didn't care if we left you alone. Know what you said, hey, can we take him? I'm like, sure, whatever. You're a good cat. You're a good cat and I'm glad you're with us. Cobblestones and bricks are bound to the rustling cart by thick spiderwebs. Hey. Shimmering wall of energy extends across this doorway like a curtain, repels forward with planetary force. Interesting. Perhaps the voice on that throne upstairs knows it. Thanks, Connor. We picked up a key of kobolds, now we can go unlock that door and not spend the,
I'll
cats.
see what I can find.
First... Why was the name up so much? It's very silly. Go, go, go! Yeah, boy!
Let's go!
Here's a lesson to...
Hey,
That will bounce around the room and hurt us. Thank you for role-playing with me, chat. It's very kind. Next time I'm talking to a cat that doesn't exist, or if it's on the screen and doesn't respond to me, I hope you'll be there to join me.
Quickly and quietly.
Oh, cool! A cocoon, a spider, a web sack. Lovely. Guys have some hard armor and a bunch of money. Another one. Weathered and covered with a dull patina, this elaborately carved pillar is far older than the surrounding structure. Spider Queen? Awesome! Boy, I'm glad we're not talking to Mayorworld right now, we're instead causing trouble.
how may I help?
Whoops, we accidentally hit Adair. And Adair will now be annoyed at Aloth for burning him. And we bounce off the side, did not hit the Spider Queen. And our seal of thing didn't go off. That was not a good start to the fight. Okay. We're on board. Let's do it. Miasma, dull-mindedness. Connor, do some cool stuff, please. Let's do it. Peace, might, and resolve. Let's move a little closer and do it. And slam shadows, my dude. I hope you got some cool things to sing. Immunity to sicken and weaken. I bet that'll go off. Let's have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't look quite right, but the yellow part will hit the yellow part will hit all of our enemies. Don't hit Edo unless you request. It's so sweet. Thanks, everybody. Look is where you but also the red is where we'll hit allies. The yellow is hit enemies, only enemies. So if we aim it in this direction, we won't hit it down, we will hit our enemies. Do that, Fan of Flames. Let's do it. Come on, let's go.
Yeah?
Not bad. Fan of Flames. Mrs. Spider Queen. Killed one of the enemies, I think. Yeah. Rage. Let's do... Oh, good hit. We've got some shadow spells. Reduces damage reduction of enemies, yes, please. And if all the damage reduction is down, some skeletons behind.
Here's a lesson to be taught.
2 inches up. Let's do a bit of damage, but not much. Come on, Kana. Road. Same shadows uses spits and fire rhymes. There'll be some skeletons that I failed to tell to attack, so let's go! Hard, worth it, enjoy it.
Hey.
Okay, Jimbles inspired me to make Sun Shadow Spits and Fire rhymes, but rebooting from start and Luxie, you gave me the rhymes. I do not like the Spider Queen, I do not like a red or green, I do not like a spin of eggs, I do not like a mess of eggs. Not exactly amazing. Oidrect, Stiletto. A rogue weapon, and if you don't have a rogue, no one can use this! Well, effectively. I'm not going to read all of them, but I thought it'd be good fun to read that first cursed sword we picked up. There's Dr. Seuss, Firearms Dr. Seuss taking it down. Too realistic, yeah, pretty huge, huh? What is this? What is this giant hand? Made of Ardra. The grandfather runes all over it. What could that be? Copperhead person in the back? Not a person, but definitely a website. Oh, that's right. Thanks for reminding me. This is the tiny spider pet. I'm not going to add the spider pet to our inventory, okay? Because I think that would freak out one or more of you, and I don't intend to do that. But I will add the spider pet to our collection. What an interesting burrowing strike. He's behind our lines, so the warriors are disengage attack on us, but
That's not very
come on, spider. Beetle. Luxie. Looks like a giant green face from a loading screen. Exactly right. Let's put the spider pet in your bag. We got it! He's in our bag, he's just not in a pet slot. Keep the cat out, okay? So many people are dealing 0 damage to this because it's such high armor.
Hey.
Kind of tilt along all the front lines. No, it is not. Be chill. Some more things. I know we should be doing block, but still, let's explore. Clear off the map. Hey, look at that! Remember? It is a sword. We bought it. Special. Champs that chance costs overwhelming wave. Just did. We got extra damage out of it. Overwhelming wave. It graces it for extra 11 chance stuff.
Hey.
Exploring is fun. I'm glad you made this on that one.
Of course.
We love pets. It's just we have some arachnophobes in playing with us. Let's not make that worse.
Leave it to me.
Me too.
You're in the way, buddy.
Not too.
You just did another hit.
Following.
So oh, no, he's not done. Okay. Also got field triage, which allows us to restore a small amount of health once per rest. It is all in health. Give you a little health back.
All right then. I'll have it in no time. The work of a moment.
But that's where our next bit of plot is. We're very close. Don't you worry. 109. Not bad. Looter. What are they doing in here? These are also looters attacking us on sight. I have a flashback and it's not going to be funny.
Me too.
Just hear all those misses going off? Crazy. Freeze damage. Short range though. Let's do this instead. We'll do it again.
Leap.
Knock down one so we can fight only one at a time. Apparently, attacking a foe with at least one defense, not hard accuracy. It's hard to hit. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Got a lot of people attacking. Playing on easy difficulty, so I don't think about that much. It's, you know, again, lazy. I'm very bad at polymetric in combat. AI is pretty decent. Just tell them what attack you want to take. Yeah, I believe Pillars 2 has an AI section that's like, tell us what you want to do by default. I'm like, okay, cool, that'd be great. Leaving them dazed would mean we'd probably hit them easier. And forward on Kana, and then reduce their deflection. Slam Shadows, I'd like you to just do a bit of zappy zappy. Damn, we missed. It's a shame. Dudes.
Seal missed.
Oh, we got it. Cool.
Me too.
Hat, hood, purple sponge. Not even worth it. What's this? A hat? It's some fruit. Cool. Cool. We've explored. Let's go. Very excited. Let's do some blood. Are we ready? Another very major important NPC.
No. Keep away from us. Leave us.
Ah, damn it. A large liver-spotted man, well-chested and paunchy, cowers in the far corner of the room, his white hair a tangled stringy mess. He covers his face and chest with trembling hands, unable to look in your direction.
Maybe we should come back later?
Oh dear. Are you Mailwolf? He looks up over his head and the muscles around his eyes twitching, and he begins whispering to himself in sharp hisses, although having an argument. All at once he stops shaking, a sudden calm is falling over him. His head tilts forward slightly, and he looks you dead in the eye, like a cornered animal about to pounce. His voice turns suddenly raspy.
Mayor Wald isn't here, and he isn't fooled. He has sent for no callers. Be gone, deceiving spirit.
Chat, what do we do? It's up to you. Please pick a dialogue option. We'll be taking votes. This person is supposed to help us in some respect, but at least a little bit. He's suffering. The marble woman said that we had some information, and he suffered, and he started to repair the place, and stopped, sent more people away. Things just got worse. One vote for, one vote for one, 2 votes for one, and 1 vote for 2. 2 votes for 4, 2 for 4, 2 for 1. Looking for a tiebreaker or something similar. You've got just a few seconds left. We don't want to spend too long staring at the options. You want to know what they are. 4 does feel more adversarial, that's for sure. So it depends on what you want. Me voice acting out the question in a calm manner isn't going to help the game interpret it, sadly. I'm going to tie a break and go for 4, because, again, I don't think we should be too concerned with choosing the best option every time. The game's going to finish anyway. If we die or get to an unwinnable state, we're just going to load, okay? I'm no spirit. Do I look like any spirit you've ever seen?
Mayor Wald will speak with you, but you will maintain your distance, or you'll have me to answer to.
The old man turns his body away and has another mutton spotting an argument face him. When he turns back towards you, he's taken on a confident stance, and his chest is puffed out like a soldier's. A new strength enters his voice. Just want an eagle feeding Jack. You're right, Baker. I understand.
Come to speak to Mayor Wald. Mayor Wald, whose touch is poison.
I think we
Mayor
will...
Wald, who knows not his effect.
Avoid needless joking. No, joking should have a decent reason and a good backstory behind it. You come to kick Mayor what? Dungeon! 1,000 years dungeon! Let's voice Slam Shadows as someone who's looking for a joke, is a bit sly, kicking a bit of ass, but having a good time with it. Let's do that instead of making it out to be a joke, right? Even if it is a slightly jerky, let's try and have them play it off as a joke. No, people are what being on the drug team. You two, you're terrible. It's great. And about a tablet of some worth after that. Once you two have finished, of course.
A window to the ether where spirits dwell. Peer and reach into it, speak and listen through it. A watcher sees souls, reads them, knows their pasts, souls of the living, souls of the dead, an empath, and the souls see them back. Used it to help beings in both realms, did I. What the gods wanted of me, thought I.
He nods half distracted, eyeing the door behind you.
The gods put me in the world for vengeance, and I obliged.
With a quick spasm, his shoulders straighten and his voice becomes strong.
It was the gods' wishes that we protect those lands. My way was the only way to remove the foreigners.
Many people are talking from Mayor Wald at this point.
Little I knew.
He shrinks down and is himself once more. He cradles his face and shakes hands. I'm going to go with 2 rather than 1. Don't like accusing people losing their mind. It's never as easy as that.
No. Forgive me. Forgive me.
I didn't help. He staggers backwards, staring off at some imagined phantom. He covers his mouth with his hand, his breath convulsing, his eyes red and exhausted. You seem to have lost your mind.
Lost? No.
Found more of it.
Too much. Too much to bear. An awakening.
I'm glad there's no alignment system in Lilith. The idea that God's put watchers in the world for vengeance is definitely a conclusion you could see someone coming to. Yeah, right? What is power, especially viewed from an outside source? What is it for? What is being able to use it for? So many games have that as an implicit assumption of what the game is about. We're searching for it. It's really good to examine it for as many different uses as possible. Power infects everything in the world. Because, like the question before, what can a watcher even do? Yeah, right? Love the capital. An awakening. Awakening with a capital A. You're right. Act on the information. Owl's eyes narrow as he looks at the old man. How could a simple awakening have driven you to this? Law 2! You mean you remember your past lives?
Something reminds. Memories stirred. Memories before birth. Other bodies. Other times. Memory. Personality. Identity. Any might resurface. Or all.
And I seem to be having a conversation with several.
Ghosts of the mind. Mayerwald has lost control. Mayerwald's body no more.
The spirits have passed. What are they?
Spirits and not spirits. Always whispering to Mayerwald, reminding him of his mistakes. No sleep. Watchers see memories before them, form them from the essence of their own souls. Once Mayerwald awakened, he could not make them leave. Gave them more form, not less.
Rebooting, you're absolutely right. And I'm glad this is the way to win it through. I'm glad, as far as I know, there isn't someone who doesn't have a more our world version of multiple personality disorder. It's so poorly understood anyway, so. You'll also notice that, like, watchers see memories before them, form them from the essence of their own souls. Yeah, cool, we see memories. Once Mayerwald awakened, he could not make them leave, gave them more for them. This is not the same thing. We're a watcher. Have we awakened? We don't remember our past lives? That hasn't come up. It's a separate thing. Spirits and memories from previous lives.
Troubled memories. Angry memories. Pulling Mayerwald back, reminding him his mistakes. Marauder and soldier. Soldier and marauder. How could they know?
Okay. 1, 2, or 3, everybody. What do you think? We gotta pick something. All of them have merit. Yeah, it's hard, huh? Choose particularly interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's something I actually want to know, too. Let's go with 2.
Fragmented our memories. Stuck in time. Mindless, cruel, never far.
Well, looks like we didn't cut off the dialogue. So let's go. Why do these past lives still trouble you?
My fault. All my fault. Soldier and marauder. Soldier and marauder and Mayorwald. No forgiveness for what's past. No undoing what's done. No sleep. No sleep for the Watcher.
No sleep for the Watcher.
War there was all around. War of stone, war of tree.
Got my phone on Be Able to Disturb so it doesn't go off. It's apparently it was very easy to hear when I get a last screen. He's talking about 2 different wars fought back to back, a long time ago. The Broken Stone War and the War of the Black Trees. Usual conflicts between locals and settlers getting out of hand, but some folks are still mad about what one side did to the other. Of course, it's a war. Someone probably died. Maybe perhaps multiple people. Rebidding, exactly. Like that sort of irrational guilt just happens and it sucks.
Brought to the settler men.
Especially if you're a Watcher.
The 9 claws. Claws of 9. Worse what we did to the women. For love of the gods. The gods' love. For their love.
And that one of your memory spirits that was talking of raiding a village. Mayorwald's voice becomes raspy, and he is somewhere else in place and time, speaking to someone unseen.
Hold her down. Head her. Give this addy a bitch an air that belongs in air Glodfath.
Disgusting. Mayorwald cringes himself again, watching something he can't bear to see, shaking his head over and over. He wails. His soul is marked by flame, and those marks will never heal. His trial has broken him, but better that than to live in weakness. Durance, fuck you. Not a thing to say to someone like this. His past lives have done awful things to one another. Luxie, you're totally right. I'm not choosing 3, even if you all voted for it. I'd just override and be like, no, we're not just being a dick about it. It's like the Dead Bridges thing. Unnecessary. Okay. Please choose an answer. Do we tell someone that they should feel guilty for their past lives? Tell him that living with what you've done is its own merits? He certainly regrets it, but it was a past life that did it. Past circumstances. Should we just comfort him a little and tell him to take his time? That's over now. That's long ago. The continuum is ready. We can also just say, we're done. That's enough. We don't want to know anymore. The answer is not you. You're not the same person as there. You're right, Luxie. And Rebooting, you're totally right too. Interesting questions about reincarnation, whether the soul is responsible. It's really a nature versus nurture argument in this sense, but like, it's nature, not the circumstances of your birth. It's not just DNA, right? nature is in this ineffable part of yourself that's different, that stays the same in every other circumstances. Some of the ones are a bit dismissive. Yeah, look, I'm happy to take that as a good rationalization. Let's go with one unless someone speaks up to the next 5-10 seconds. Okay. Okay, let's just go on. We don't need to make a judgment at this point.
The boy. The boy. The baby boy. The boy. Conceived in the raid. Conceived by force. Vessel for Marauder. Slain in the raid. Marauder and the boy. Marauder and soldier.
The baby conceived by the raider. What do you mean that was a vessel there?
For the soul. Marauder's soul. Same soul. One soul. Boy's soul. Marauder's soul. Raised in lies and vengeance. Raised to soldier. Raised for the fire. Born for the fire.
And that was his mother I met in McKee. She told him his father was killed by the raiders.
You'll get no pity from me. The crimes of the Nine Claws clan in the last war are still unavenged. But the gods are just. They have led me here. In my father's name, every one of you will burn.
He looks off to his side, as if someone else is standing nearby. This is horrible. Utterly horrible. No wonder Mayorwald lost his grip and was unable to cope with the reality. Haleth looks at the old man in horror. By the ashes cooked barn. Mayorwald's shoulders slump. He rocks back and forth, agitated. He mutters to himself, oblivious to your prison.
Soldier and marauder, lies and vengeance, and dead villages.
Rebooting.
All dead. What for? What for?
You're absolutely right. Because this is a horrible thing in the game that there's no good, correct, pleasant, friendly outcome for. And you have very little control over it. And it's mandatory. You can't check out of this. Right? We have to provide some sort of statement on it. And it's hard, and it's gross, and it's brutal, and I wish there was a content warning for it. And I think it does a decent job of explaining why this character has suffered so much and why awakening and being a watcher is such a normal thing. And again, really sets the tone. We're driving deep into this. This is a hard setting where everything, like, bad things happen, very bad things, by random chance, but still awful. And I don't like this part. It does make some of the positive outcomes sweeter. To know that you need to fight for the positive. The assault aspect was entirely unnecessary. Yeah, it wasn't entirely necessary. Yeah, and honestly, you can get the same thing across without it. More than one way through. Yeah. Let's pick 4 and move on. Whatever the reason, I don't think we're meant to know.
How little we know.
We circle back and now we can pick 2.
Oh, no. You too. You too.
Tears well in Mayorwald's eyes. All at once, in spite of his abject misery, its expression changes to one of utmost sympathy. Poor man. Poor man.
They will take you too.
Told you a watch is not to be trusted. What's to be expected when one makes a habit of seeing what's not meant for mortal eyes, if not madness? Looks as though our journey together may be a short one. You're saying I'll end up like you?
So fragile, the Watcher's mind. So real, his memories. Once awakened, how can he sleep?
He puts, as though he was holding his mouth closed as the answer would escape. At length, he nods. Terrence, fuck right off. Yeah. If I'm awakened to a past life, how would that have happened?
You were reminded of it. Strong memories. lingering lives. They dwell near the surface, waiting to be remembered, waiting to take your mind for their own. Meyerwald sat at his hearth and watched his fire, watched the wood burn. Then came the memory of another fire and burning wood and screams.
His face trembles involuntarily. 2 votes for fuck Durance. There must be some way to make these memories go away.
No. Always there. Always remembered. Can't forget. Can't unsee.
Do not fuck Durance. Wouldn't. Again, I don't like him. He's not a nice person. I like that his character exists. There is someone to be a bit of a jerk and say mean things. God, no, never fuck Durance, though. I didn't just remember, what was this? There were masks and spoken books like keys and a queen, and there was a bed there. He seemed familiar to me.
Keys of lead. Books of burden. Queens that were. Known to me are they. The leaden key.
The leaden key. The leaden key. It seems we share an enemy, Slam Shadows. Assassins and Watcher Wakers both. They certainly keep busy. Carl, what? What? Okay. I love Durance's story, hate Durance. Yeah, that's exactly rebooting. He's incredibly, so fascinating to have along. He's just a jerk. I also, minor spoiler, but nearish to the end of his quest, you can't discover that the other people that were doing the important spoilery thing with him hated him too. He's always been a jerk, and it's not because bad things happened to him. Kind of gratifying.
Secrets. Secrets and deceptions and schemes. Who knows their answers? Not they. Not they. Crossed them before.
Alright, just layering a chat.
Much we see. Threat to secrets.
It was this queen that they agreed to. I added a couple of immediate auto mods that I have to approve some statements. There's some particular words in chat. Rebooting. Oh, it's okay. The thing is, you're not using it to insult a woman, right? You're saying that this character is misogynistic. Here's an example. You're not using it to hurt someone. That's a decent thing and a good reason. I don't mind approving it, okay? You certainly don't need to feel guilty about it. He says it a lot. He's a bad person for saying it. I don't want anyone calling anyone else a derogatory term in my chat. I have the slightest bit of power. I'm not letting people do that. Exactly. Who's this queen they pray to?
Woodica. Goddess. Crown shattered and body burned.
One of the divinities.
Of oaths and grudge holder. Bearer of justice.
Hold on a minute, everyone.
But whose?
It's your laundry on, but it's
It's okay. No, it's not ready to go yet either.
You don't want to put it on?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, hot chocolate.
Yeah. Thanks, babe.
Like chai or chocolate.
Thank you. And thank Emma for making me a hot chocolate. It let key cause my awakening. Got the out of it. Do want this gone. I want it
Many
gone.
secrets do they keep. Unawakened? Mayhap. Who else if not they?
You sweet chat, thank you. Maywood's bushy white eyebrows edge upwards. He begins muttering to himself, just as you're ready to repeat your question. He speaks. I'll awaken. I'll go take a nap. Where can I find the lead key?
City of Defiance. Never far from the Queen.
To Defiance Bay. I need to go search for this man from the lead key.
Sleep well. Sleep well.
Maywald nods at you, a look of understanding in his face.
Hold! I know your will die. Your actions were seen. You would sooner betray us to the Adia land thieves than take orders from me.
Maywald. Before you exit, turn to exit, tilts his head forward. His eyes lock with yours, cold and dangerous, his voice heavily. He's changed to someone else again. One. I'm out, buddy. Not paying attention to that. Sorry. Confusing me with someone from a past life. Do we know where this is going? I feel like I know where we're going, but it's not going to be good, right? I hate that this is coming. I hate that we can't avoid it, and I feel like you know what's about to happen. It sucks. Votes, please. What are we choosing? It's not hard to share a bit of power over the narrative. Give me one. I don't think it's that simple, but yeah, essentially. If we had this NPC around to give us more information about being a watcher, we wouldn't be able to learn things by ourselves, and it's a bit narratively weaker. Again, we've seen the consequences of being an awakened watcher go really badly right in front of us. What are we going to do? We got one vote for one. Kind of. Again, depends on your RP. Yeah. I don't have time for this. I'll beat you senseless, old man. How many times are you going to teach you this lesson? Try to meet ourselves in vain. Look, I think... wasn't even confrontational. I think that's just great. You're confusing me with someone from a past life. I'm doing that. Sorry, everybody. Let's go. 5. It's a lot of things to take on as a lunatic. Yeah.
Your betrayal is for nothing. Your warnings are lost on these foreigners, and their blood will be Gallowayne's tribute this night. I have asked the elders for the honor of claiming your head as my first trophy, and they have granted it. Beg for the Seeker God to grant you a quick death.
End dialogue. We literally cannot do anything about it. I bet it doesn't matter what we said. Hit attack. This is shitty. Right. This is someone essentially performing suicide by cop. Have you been recently? Exactly like it. There's literally nothing we can do about it. I wish there was a better way, and it's shitty that this is the only option we get. Video games! Sometimes it's just like this. And you look at it and you go, I wish this was better, I wish there was a better way to handle this. You're just not given an option. I understand that you can't take every available option to deal with things every time, but at least this time it would help. I don't want to kill the old man. I don't want to kill someone who's... Thanks for everything, I'm glad. If there was a way to not harm him, like talk him down, tell him to go somewhere, like take him in a missile, is exactly... I'd like to do that. Crushing Wave went off again, good job Anna. Stop Beowulf to just slap that. Oh hey Emma. Everyone in chat said thank you very much.
I didn't bring enough much more quick for the whole part.
Oh no! Shoot Beowulf with our guns. We quit him, hit him and he exploded. Slime shadows. There's a change in the air of the keep. What was thick and suffocating feels to you somehow more breathable, as though yielding to a conquering invader. Mertwald's body lies inert. He got chunked! You can feel his soul lingering there, uncertain. Ooh. It doesn't feel good killing a semi-crazy. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. It sucks. I wish I was better up them. Something unique about the soul in this place. This soul in this place. Born, formed decades of inhabitants and lordship, it feels somehow palpable to you. Is that even at death, the keep knows its former master, and the former master remembers his keep. Slime Shadows is granted speaker to the restless. In your mind's eye, the bond seems to you as a frayed rope. Ghostly and alive, its frayed ends riding like tide-pulling enemies, and you find that if you concentrate on it, you have the ability to manipulate its strands. This redeems a little tiny bit. My mic has no sound. Awesome. Hi, Running Mind. Glad to have you along. Oh, it's okay, man. I'm glad you came along. I really appreciate your help. Doesn't matter if you're wrong. The intent of trying to help us out. We appreciate it. Thank you. So, this makes it a little better. Just a little slightly better. Yeah, I do that too. I make my own stream and other people. Sometimes I just watch people in the background. I'm like, you're not an idiot. You made a simple mistake. Don't worry about it. Okay, so we got 3 options here. This makes it a little better. We had a key attacked us. We didn't have the option of just knocking him out and dealing with the problem that way. At least we can now decide what happens to his soul. So, friends, again, diplomatically and as a group, I want to decide, what are we doing? Repairing the rope, binding his soul here, allowing him to pass on the world and rest, or siphoning knowledge so that we may learn a little bit more about a condition and become stronger, right? I personally don't remember what I usually do with this scenario. Usually when it feels like it might damage the soul too. Yeah, I'd say it would. Like, we're drawing upon the energy, we're adding energy to our own. I'd say 3 feels like a consumption activity, right? Might damage ours too, who knows? Maybe I'll be a ramification at the end of the game if we've eaten too many souls. Which I don't think that happens. But it is. These sort of decisions happen every now and then. A powerful souls hide or return to locations. Like, we're a watcher, this is the thing we do now. Nom 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 souls. Not bad. We got 1 vote for 2 to let him pass on. 1 and 3 to girl. Thank you, Mako. A yummy egg. Clarksy, I don't want to make fun of you, but that's really hilarious. Perfect typo. Again, we've got 1 vote for 2, and I'd like to move on, so you've got like 15 to 20 seconds before we choose. Go. Alright, let's do it. 2 votes for 2. Alright. Alright, 3 votes for 2. I think that's absolutely going to happen. Let's let him pass on from the world. Strand by strand, the connections fly apart like the strings of some ethereal instrument. With the tearing of the final string, the rope becomes liquid and dissolves from your awareness. Merewald's soul hovers in a vortex of strife and discord, but there is something there beneath it. Something like relief. His soul passes through one of the walls and it's gone. Relief, yeah, that's what we're hoping for. It would just... I'm glad we can give some measure of peace to the soul that has clearly suffered too much. Your stronghold has gained 2 prestige. Also dig. Athletics, maybe survival. Don't need stealth. Oh no, town management. Yes! We have a stronghold! Because the Watcher of Caed Nua just died, and another Watcher of Caed Nua is there. Increases defense for 20 weapon specialization. I like giving him not knight, not noble, ruffian, soldier. No, not that one. Saber. Blunderbuss, club, pistol, saber, stiletto. I don't know why, but I just love a day at using sabers, so we may consider that. Graze is converted to hits. Minimum damage for all melee. That's just fantastic. Lowest accuracy includes deflection of allies. I think a charge, dazing team would needs damage. Let's just do that. Get him into battle faster. Us, the next people? Yeah. We're the Watcher of Caed Nua. That's how it goes. Slam Shadows. Up. Increase our lore to ridiculous amounts. Lo, their endless hosts, the Harbinger's Doom. We're getting our 2nd level of phrases, and now we can have even more powerful effects just going and rolling through as how it cuts. Frightening enemies. Defends against frightened and terrified to allies, like group buff, frost, hobbling and freeze damage to enemies. That's pretty good. 20% reload speed and range attack speed? Yeah, absolutely. We're doing that. I'll show you minus 10 accuracy against disengage, so we can move faster. I think that's good. Then we can move out with that tax. Hamler Anderson. What a ping to pig Hamler. Slam Shadows more like Ham Shadows. Yeah, it's great. It's very funny. We've also got dialogue. Talk to Carter. I'm actually going to be right back in a moment. Sorry, everybody. Save the game. Yeah, hey, Lorraine. Sorry, poor timing. I'm so sorry. I'm about to take like 2-3 minute break. I'll be back in a second. Oh no! We got ourselves a block. Sorry, bot. Lauren, I'll be back in just a minute. I'm glad to have you aboard. Yes, very Aussie indeed. Back in a sec, everybody. You know what a more organised family would do? Probably set up actual break times so that we'd come back at like at 9 o'clock and say, okay, I'm going to take 5 minutes, I'll be back soon. So don't leave after dramatic moments, which has happened like twice now. Anyway, look at that, we're back. Dog is excited because I stood up, so she thinks maybe getting some food. Actually, her name is restoring. So, Llewyn, and please tell me if I'm mispronouncing your screen name wrong, but like, more people are Australian playing Pillars? That's interesting. I don't think it was amazingly huge here compared to other places, but maybe I couldn't be blamed because I keep yelling at people to play. Aloth, I like that you have law, but we're taking the back in the day because I am. I hate this stupid hat. Anyway. I'm relatively new. This is like the 4th episode of Pillars, and I really like Pillars a lot. So the hat gives him an intelligence bonus. This one. First playthrough? No. I finished Pillars 1 twice, and Pillars 2 once. Really like it. A lot. The setting and the themes of the game just hit me in a happy spot, so I love playing them, and this is an opportunity to not force, but like reiterate and show people why I like it so much, particularly some friends who have been, hey, play this, and they're like, how long? And I go, 40 to 50 hours? They go, no. Interesting speed of movement. Training touch for corrosive damage, doing while playing D&D. Cade's pretty sweet. We... It's pretty hard at time. Yeah, I play, like, more recently I've been playing Pathfinder Second Ed, and World of Darkness fan made something called Bard that I playtested with some people. And I'm going to keep playing because it's for the role-playing convention that I help run. 100 hours in. Yeah, we got to Drain Touch, one more spell. I'd like to take Bounding Missiles. I know I'm not going to go through anything, but we'd love some missile spells. They're just fun. Pathfinder 2, yeah, Second Ed was a massive improvement. As friends have said, it's not a class-based system, it's a multiple choice, like a talent tree system in disguise. That makes it pretty fun. Hannah.
Poor Mayor Wald. He couldn't contend with all that he knew of himself. A cruel fate.
It's okay. She just used some convincing.
She does.
That's it. Yes, it's in your best interest to snuggle under the blankets, Model.
We could talk.
Okay.
System. Yeah, fully class-based to customize more. Not so much to choose from. Exactly. I also like the house rule, or I think it's even an optional rule written in that you get a free archetype at level 2. Just good. Very good idea. Just to get that free little bit of multi-classing, and you're still bound by action economy anyway, so you're not too empowered, but it just gives you more options, makes it more interesting. I like playing an alchemist healer and a monk dragon disciple compared to just a monk, or shooting myself in the foot by taking those feats later. Fifth aid, yeah. I have nothing but agreeing with that. Fifth Ed D&D is restrictive in that area. It's a good system, and I feel like it's great. It's brought a lot of people in, but it is quite restrictive at times. Yeah. Okay, Kana, let's say. Yeah. I don't think knowledge was a problem, man. Is that if I find out what causes, it may help me. That is true. There is no such thing in my experience as too much knowledge. Kana smiles. Come, we'll find your answers, and mine, I hope. Emma. Oh, I'm sorry, Lucky. My bad. I like that. Just a little moment to talk to Kana.
Hey.
Because maybe they had something specific to say.
Let's see what I can do. The work of a moment.
150. Just look, there's like nothing special in those areas. A sickly sweet smell of rot rises from this half-eaten fruit. You're a half-eaten fruit. Sorry. Very good indeed. A warm book lies on the table, its pages filled with nonsensical scrawls. Let's go upstairs.
Older set? I don't want to discuss it.
That's cool as hell, right? What does that mean? You can't just talk to Alpha about it. Alpha, tell me why you're doing it to yourself. What could this mean, knowing about awakening and seeing past lives and stuff? You'll just have to keep watching.
No sense listening to that old bam part.
Damned Virago, not now!
So, hey, everyone. Remember how I was like, we picked up 2 characters and said they're both voiced by Matt Mercer, so it's Matt Mercer talking to each other? That second voice Aloth has is also Matt Mercer, so it's 3 Matt Mercers talking to themselves. Don't want to spoil too much. You'll get it when Aloth's story continues. Running Wine, you're absolutely, totally right. I understand that this place looks gorgeous as hell. I feel like isometric games give themselves a bit more credit in making the backgrounds just simply gorgeous. The game is 6 years old. Because of the way they've done the backgrounds with new overlay, it's allowed to be just that good looking. Lauren. Not bad. Yeah. I'm really busy running, like, it's in the beginning stage of setting up a convention right now. But if you want to plug it, and you're willing to put your name against it, send a link to the chat, okay? Check with everyone there to make sure they want us to join. Because if people want community, they should be able to find it. Matt Mercer flirting with Matt Mercer. Oh, my favourite. Let's talk to the steward. What more can we know?
I felt Mayor Wald's passing. You slew him.
And several of them.
It saddens me to hear it. But part of me is grateful to no longer have to wait and worry in darkness.
The steward is silent for a moment. The air seems to chill. Yeah, rebidding. Why else has said you're not going to make a defender this year? I think it's important to look after yourself, but we will miss you. Okay? I'm hoping we will get lots of photos, and you'll hear a lot of stories from games. And I am also going to be certain that I will write some more about the game that I intend to run, and I'll let you read it, okay? Especially the characters. Yeah, I hear you.
This place has always known its master, long as it's had one. It has a will all its own, which has little to do with the castle and much to do with the land it's built on. It looks to you as Mayor Wald's successor now, whether you care for it or not. A dubious honor, inheriting a fortress both broken and cursed. But in the right hands, it could be so much more. If you had only seen it in its day. Will you stay?
Will you stay? Tutorial says your stronghold is available. You can manage your stronghold at any time with the castle icon. Really doesn't feel like it matters what I say, just why not? Yeah. I hope you'll be able to come and run a Stargate freeform, that'd be awesome. Everybody's voting too, I'm agreeing. I've always wanted my own keep, even if it is a little ghost. You feel that same emanation of warmth and energy in the air. Then it is yours, finally. I cannot begin to tell you how glad, that is, how good it is to know that the keep is in capable hands once again. I suppose I should mention first that if you mean to travel to Defiance Bay for supplies, there has been a complication. The Eastern Barbican collapsed decades ago, and they will never get around to rebuilding it. The road here is it's got the forest gathering materials before it became preoccupied. This is the tutorial. Yeah. Very welcome and friendly and mindful that it's intended for DMs. Any kudos interested in playing? Oh, okay, so you can get games there. Alright, that's cool. That's very good indeed. I hope everyone's respectful and they enjoy it. Thanks for linking, Aldrin. Appreciate it. I could make arrangements to have it repaired if it is your will. When it ceased to be the previous master's will, I became powerless to do anything about it. But what am I but the master's instrument? Steward, I think you should have a bit more strength in yourself, okay? It would take time, but far less than finding another route to Defiance Bay. Okay, what does being the master of Caed Nua entail? Why, there are many responsibilities involved in maintaining a keep. The extent to which you wish to get involved is entirely up to you, of course. Part of the reason I'm here is to ensure that things run smoothly in your absence, provided we have been given instruction. If you instruct me on which repairs you wish to conduct next, I will make the necessary arrangements. These may take some time to finish, but it will provide you with additional resources once they are complete. Given somewhere to place them, we can hire tradesmen to provide you with supplies or ingredients. Repairing the keep will raise your prestige and draw both helpful individuals and unwelcome attention from bandits and opportunists. We can raise the keep's security in turn. These will become less of a concern. Oops. You should know, however, that the position does come with some risk. Your name will grow in fame. Must contend with threats to the keep. And then there are other things. Was there anything else? Yeah. What do you mean by risks? Mayor Wald's curse was his own. A watcher's curse. But his predecessors have not fared better. There was a presence, or rather, far beneath it. At least such to the conclusion drawn by all those who come to this place, for what spirits still linger the endless paths speak of the master. Every effort to settle here has failed. From the time of Adirian colonists forward, beasts rise up from the endless paths until the new lord or lady is no more. The one who dwells below, this master, does not tolerate rivals, it seems. I have seen from time to time intrepid explorers ascend to lay claim to what answers they can, but none return. This is the force which has kept Caed Nua barren ruin, and robbed me of my hopes. Kana. The endless paths. That, my friend, is where I must go. Where we must go, if you will go with me. Whatever devils lie beneath, think too what knowledge we will find. Perhaps this master speaks Adelia? Absolutely. Yeah, I wish I could give you this one chocolate. It's very tasty. Trying to find the nutmeg is the key. Not the ghost foundations are hallucinating, but here's the thing. The master below is very much below. Very deep. What are the endless paths? The endless paths of Caed Nua. That is the name given to the labyrinth beneath the keep. The Earl, We were warned by the Glenfarthens that this site was cursed, and there is a legend attached to it, though at the time we thought nothing of it. The ruins were built, it is said, by a powerful Egwithin named Caed Nua, who ruled there until his people turned against him. They destroyed his endless paths and filled many of the upper tunnels in with soil and stone. No one living knows how far down the tunnels stretch. Few who have ventured there have returned. There is much talk of riches and treasure. The promise of Egwithin relics alone has drawn many fortune seekers. To their deaths, I fear. Optional content, not do it right now. You're absolutely right, you know? It is. Okay. As part of a Kickstarter reward, usually people just do stretch goals with money. Makes sense. So you quickly keep that money. But they also sometimes have things like shares or social media likes or that sort of thing, or just number of backers. When you hit X tiers, you do something. The endless paths of Caed Nua added an additional floor to the mega dungeon explorable underneath your keep. Like every 5,000 backers or so. Not sure exactly what the number, maybe it was every 10,000. And they got to 15 floors down. It's not meant to be done in a single set. Unless you're coming back at max strength, right? You explore in as far as you're interested until things get a little too hard, and then you back out. I won't be doing it this tonight because, you know, it's 9:30. I said we do main plot. We're doing main plot. We will do some sessions where we're just going in and exploring. Okay? Mako, it's up. It's cool. I like the concept. I wish it was slightly more explicit in the rationale that, like, you hit a point and you're like, I can't go any further. I like that it's not locked off by plot. Like, it doesn't say, well, you can't go further until you do X thing. It is separate and disparate for people who really like dungeoneering. Pathfinder's Kingmaker has a similar sort of thing. That's for Mega Dungeons always say. Because it's not randomly generated. It specifically has a lot of lore in there. And yeah, you don't have to track through all the floors. Pathfinder's Kingmaker is similar as well. It was a DLC. It was really good. And it also had a roguelike aspect that was very cool. We'll talk more about Pathfinder Kingmaker as CRPGs, because it's also one of my favorites. Who was the Master Below? I could not say with any certainty. I believe it must be tied to the man said to have been the architect of the Endless Paths, and Egwithin tyrant. Some claim his spirit endures, or at least has laid a curse upon the subject. I cannot imagine much remains of his work, for the ruins have been here 1,000 years or more. What is left is impressive. I also thought so. A giant head. You may have seen, while below, the hand of the great statue of Nua constructed. Perhaps it is the statue of Nua himself. But am I not the master of Caed Nua? It's mine now. You said it was mine. Of course you are. The keeper have no other. But the endless paths are a different thing entirely. It is unfortunate, really, that they are so closely entwined. The master below is not dealt with. It to be a threat to the keep. It's not mandatory. I know it is much to take in, but if you would remain, if you would be lord of this place, I advise you to seek out this foe before it destroys you. Again, not mandatory. You can straight up ignore it. How can I help? Okay. How do I repair the pumpkin? May I want to set aside materials? They're available. Okay. Time to find a queen. How do I repair the barbecue? God. I watched a video by a cooking YouTuber today, Ethan Shabarsky, which is good stuff. And he had a longish video on the basics of barbecuing, and like American style barbecuing, and boy, I want some smoked brisket. Anyway, you must know this queen you're looking for. Defiance Bay has no queen. The Merquins of Aedian have reigned here. Something. The only queen there with any power is Woodica. I said that wrong. I'm told they erected an exquisite temple in her honor there, but I was never able to see it. If you mean to go there, we can get started right away and repair the barbecue. Repair that barbecue. Sweet loot down there. You're totally right, Aloran. If you mean to go there, we can get started. You only need to tell me what you wish to do and I'll make the necessary arrangements. Tutorial, tutorial, tutorial. You've got a stronghold, damn it. Now do something with it, the game says. May well have kept a ledger as it happens. I've taken the liberty of updating it. Can you take a look? Absolutely. Let's get it. Get away at once. The steward's voice belies a giddy excitement. Know, my lord, that this is the first and least of a great many undertakings. The keep supported a great many buildings and servants for many years. If you should wish it, we can repair some of the outlying structures, and then these will bring you wealth and recognition, drawing people to your service. Rebuilding the defences will keep your grounds from becoming overrun. It's indeed under Maywald's keeping. No spirits in our bed, please. Squeaky chair is the best EA. The steward loves doing stuff. Of course, because, like, in her, it is kind of akin to feeling like part of your body has become under disrepair and you have no power to change it or improve it until someone arrives and says, yeah, man, well, we will fix this. I can put the materials and the effort necessary to allow you to do this work to heal part of your perception. Yeah. And why would we not do that? Why would we not help this person? Where is your adventurer? And if only life were that easy. You need not choose all at once. I am pledged to your aid, and so long as you are master here, we shall always be linked. You need not step upon these grounds to speak with me. Wherever your travels may take you, make your will known to me, if you but reach out. Oh, but of course. Oh, but first, of course, the barbecue. Lots of things we need to do first. We clearly actually have to do the Eastern barbecue first. We cannot change the fact that we need to repair the barbecue. It's also where we can drop and pick up small people. Okay. Highly self-defend destruction like hiring, whatever. Let's repair the barbecue. Choose a pager. Exactly. It's a good thing too, because it would suck having to come back. One prestige, one security. Eastern barbecue. The Eastern barbecue, which means we may get a Western barbecue, gates passage to the woodland plains, the crossroads between Caed Nua, Deerford, and Defiance Bay. Done. Bright Hollow restoration. Restoring Bright Hollow allow you to rest here. Other upgrades and unlock resting bonuses. We don't have much money, because we bought a sword. I think it's worth... Whoa. Oh, friends. We've got some choices here, and I'd like you to make one. We shouldn't... we'll get this one soon. I'd like you to pick between two options. Repair Bright Hollow, which allows us to rest at our inn, or we'll have to camp here. So we could sleep, we have to camp. And later on we'll get bonuses. Or upgrade the main keep to repair the Great Hall, allowing visitors and adventurers to be available to us. One's worth 1,400, one's worth 500. Don't worry about the days time, okay? We can just get past that. Don't worry about it. So, main keep or Bright Hollow. We will do both at some point. Don't worry about that, but I do want to ask. Ooh, one main keep. The quest space and money back's pretty good. Service companions. Bright Hollow first. Yeah. 1 for 1. 2 for main keep. What does main keep do? It makes it look prettier, and we can get visitors, companions, and other adventures. Bright Hollow is cheaper, and it'll allow us to sleep here instead of camp. I don't know what that meant. It is cheaper and is completed faster, right? If you were short on gold, you choose that. We can't do both because we don't have enough money to at this point. Right away, we will. I intend to completely upgrade the whole keep. Why wouldn't we? Again, makes our steward feel a little better. We'll do it. some sage advice rebooting. Thank you before we got either Highlands or Settlers Commanders to get adventures, but not anyone who can do them. We're actually not going to go to Defiance Bay. We're going to go straight to Deerford and pick up my favourite companion. I wanted to do it tonight. Wise. Exactly. I like being keep the I have no game knowledge. That's fine, Luxie. Again, I don't want us to be worried about making the right decisions, choosing what we want to do at each point in time. If we're missing on some crucial information, someone in the chat will tell us, which is cool. Or I'll just Google it and I'll tell you, if I don't already know. I would like to give us, I'd like a final vote. If you've already made a vote, please make it again, just so we have a count. We've got about 30 seconds or so, okay? Just tell us what you want. Bright Hollow or Main Keep. Just a bit of time. Choose. Okay, that's it. We're getting Bright Hollow. Let's do it. Purchase. Finish in 2 days. A little bit of time, we'll have enough money to upgrade the keep. Good job, everybody. We did it. Oh, look. Druids and Kana can level up as well. Kana's also got lore, which means we've got a lot of overlap here. I'm sorry, Kana's not going to be around for this forever. Not because they're dying. No. It's just 2 chances to not break. We are already overlapping. Let's give them. Rather Frost. No, we don't want that. Let's into hot. No, because we don't move that much. We want that one. Defense against frightened attacks. You put air frightened on the enemies. Let's do it. That's fun. Very similar to our level up screen because we're both tenders hitting at 5. Jones is a mess. He gets a whole bunch of spells. Now look at 3 spells. Kana does want to focus, and we will.
I confess, I was hoping our meeting with Mayorwald would go a little differently.
Same.
But then, you have gained an entire keep. I don't think I've seen anyone inherit land that quickly since Caed the Younger read her father's will.
Love it. Where is your cat? Favors the highball? So it does. Perhaps we'll have as much luck in Defiance Bay. You may end up owning half the deal.
It will give you a base from which to go searching at least. And then, there are secrets beneath the keep yet. With you at the head, it should be easier to explore the endless paths.
Absolutely. We'll take you down there. Not tonight.
Hey.
Peter's name is typing in the background, yes.
Bit just like your breeches, Scholar Lad.
I beg your pardon?
Nothing. I said nothing.
No, the barbecue is fixed. Let's go. Peter's name is typing. I hope the NVIDIA AI voice would have stopped that. I think it makes a little bit off. But when I'm talking, it lets that go through, and then you can hear him as typing as well. So using blue switches. I actually don't remember what MS Keyboard is. Village, we're going there. We should put like a couple of soft toys underneath her keyboard. I don't know. Hey, we got dial with health and death. Which Matmos person we're going to talk to first? Rebooting. I'm glad you like it.
I don't know what I expected, but it sure wasn't that.
You said you had some things you wanted to ask him.
Nah, well, it's kind of embarrassing now. I just got a dumb idea in my head is all. Don't know why I thought it'd work. It's funny. That's probably the first thing I got my hopes up for in, I don't know, years. At least I got that out of it.
There's no need to be embarrassed. There's no need to be embarrassed. I won't judge.
All right. Guess fair is fair, and you did bring me to see him. Those rumors back in Gilded Vale about my brother, Woden. About how he'd turned against us and fought for Widewind. Been on my mind for some time now. Thing about Woden was, he always knew what was right, and that's what he'd do. One day he set out to fight for Deerwood against a man claiming to be our god. So I knew that's what I had to do too. It was right. Hearing claims that he died fighting for Caed Nua, that got me worried. Not that he'd chosen the wrong side, but that I had. Didn't seem right what Widewind had in store, but if he really was Aethys,
Shakes his head.
I thought, maybe this whole Watcher would know how my brother died. So I could see if it was true. Like he could, I don't know, read it in my soul or something. Use our connection.
Why didn't you ask me for
Told you
help?
it was dumb.
I love it there. I really do. Guess because I didn't know you. It's hard to trust a stranger that says he's a watcher.
Of course, I knew the truth deep down. A Watcher's not psychic. I think I just had this idea, and the idea made me feel a certain way, and I didn't want to lose that.
Really, if I wanted to find out about my brother, I would be starting watches and be starting with records. It took you 15 years to figure that out? He cracks his smile. It's never occurred to me to go looking into it until you put some crazy notions about watches in my head. Multiple playthroughs. Yeah, I love it, yeah. You may not be meta, sure, but I'm also playing it on casual. Bear thinks for a moment, his lips twisted to one side. He raised his eyebrows. If there was anything written down about it, they'd have it in Defiance Bay. They've got an archive in the palace.
You've done a lot for me already, but if you could see fit to pay that archive a visit with me, well, you know. Knowing my luck, the records clerk will go crazy and try to kill me. I'd feel better with you in there with me.
Alright, okay. No worries. Fragrance of a scattered faith. Good. Hey! Let's talk to the other man, Mercer. Aldoth seems lost in thought. He flinches when you draw near, sucking a sharp breath through his teeth.
What can I do for you?
Slime shadows, what can I do for you? You alright, buddy?
Of course. Merely processing some of the unusual things we've seen lately. And if Mayorwald is to be believed, it would seem you've an uncertain future ahead.
My situation is more dire than I realized. We've got to find this leaden key, and fast.
That does seem like the logical course of action. I shall follow your lead.
Want to discuss anything else? What should we do next? May will urge you to seek out these leaden key agents in Defiance Bay, I guess, and if his condition is any warning, we should find him with all haste. I'm going to leave it there. I want to talk to them more later. We're running short on time now. I won't forget about particular companions, but I'm actually going to explore this place fully today. So, that was a bit weird. Like, we got a lot from it there. Backstory, what he was next, how he's feeling. We got very little from Aldoth there, right? What did he say? What? No. Not what? It's not just because of what we picked. Really considering dropping Durance from the party at some point. I want him with us, it just doesn't fit right now.
Stand still.
Jeez, as far as I'm doing this one for, isn't it? There we go.
Alright then.
That was fun. Jeez.
Of course.
Hey, could we select some people?
Alright then.
Right. Another one? Glad we're only fighting one at a time, honestly. Let's use this charge. And we get knocked out. So that's a level 3 Pillar of Faith spell.
The Faru beyond seek.
Kavaru beyond seek.
Following your lead.
Do a little more. Come on. Jeez, endurance is knocked down to 0.
Following your lead.
These forest lurkers are really dealing some damage to us.
Roll up.
Gonna drop turrets. Chris at the bottom, like, I don't know, I feel like maybe we should take breaks from him. I think may also maybe re-equip him with something other than his flaming staff, so he doesn't run in and immediately get knocked around. Lore rich. Yeah. Slow stupid guns. Fuck them, they're funny.
We're down one.
No problem.
Ugh. That was rough, huh?
Hey,
Yes, we're of the opinion that Durance is amazing and I don't want to not take him, it's just that he's hard to deal with.
Following your lead.
God, we haven't rested yet, so we don't have to restore health ability again. Perhaps we could have made it easier on ourselves by following the road instead of just walking straight through. Stormwall Gorge. And straight to Deerford Village. It is coming close to 10 o'clock, and I like to finish our stream at 10 o'clock on Monday nights, so a lot of us have to, work tomorrow. I can't even joke about, hey, like, subscribe, and whatnot. We won't have to finish 10 of what we're working on. Actually, I like my job, so I won't go into it online, I'm sorry, but suffice to say is I like what I'm doing now. There's some time where I really did so this is a plus. So, like, we are speeding through here, we are going to come back and explore these zones fully in time, I promise. I just want to get to Deep Village. I mean, rebooting, right? Like, when I was unemployed, it was for different reasons. So I was suffering a lot of mental distress with the previous job. Ulrich, don't feel like we're shouting you down about dudes. We really do. If I drop him, it's only because he gets annoying. And I pick him back up and do his story. Anyone I'm dropping from my party, I'm still keeping and chatting and bringing them in places. It may not be a performance. We'll talk soon, brothers. We should do a Google. Yeah, there we are. We'll look briefly for you. She doesn't know you're there. It's an awesome character. Yeah. I also think the first time I really liked having him in the party. And when he first picked up, I said, I like his character, I like his role, he's just a jerk. And I want him with me to comment on things, if only so that everyone chat is like, fuck off, Durance, because, unifying moment, right? I'd like to introduce you to the first femme character you pick up, and my favourite character in the whole game. Grieving Mother. That's her full name. She kind of blends into the background here, right? Fucking finally, exactly, Neko. Oh, also, nice, glad you found your keyboard, Emma. That's good. Grieving Mother. This middle-aged peasant woman is dressed in brown leather cloth draped down to her knees. Her hands are working at separating stringy, colourless vegetables in a pile before her, stripping the heads off the long fibrous stems with a paring knife. You can get Sagani as well. Yeah, I probably will as well. Sagani's great. She discards the stems one by one, snipping the vegetables into a small, cradle-like basket in front of her. She doesn't greet you as you approach. You're not sure she even knows you're there. Why would we speak to her? She's got a generic, like the other companions have been introduced by their names on the map. You had just got a grieving mother. She's not wailing, she's not asking for information. She's not asking for a quest. Excuse me? The woman doesn't respond. She keeps stripping the heads from the vegetables with a steady rhythm. She may be deaf. There's no indication she heard you. Study her. At first glance, she seems nothing more than a middle-aged woman, unremarkable, maybe less stern than most, who seems more focused on the weaving in her lap than her surroundings. Yet you suddenly notice she's not stripping the vegetables before her any longer. She's weaving, and the vegetable pots are now missing. How do we look at her and know she's a grieving mother? She's got a face portrait. Yeah, that's a big hint. But we wouldn't know that until we clicked on her. She still pays you no mind, her brown locks torn and snagged from lack of washing, like many of the townsfolk you've seen. It was a strange blur to her. Even the motions of her hands seemed to be playing with threads that lack colour, in a shape that lacks interest. Maybe that she is half-minded or deaf, but something feels wrong. As you watch, her knitting takes on an odd cadence, and you have a terrible suspicion that something lurks beneath what your eyes are showing you. Focus on. Her brown hair is long, almost impossibly to the length of her hands. As you follow the seams of her locks downwards, the hairs become long and black, splitting off into threads of black and silver, and wrapping around her hands. She's forming a soul cradle with the threads, braiding a net in front of you, each finger long and sharp, like a series of knitting needles, almost hypnotic. The silver and black strand of her hair weave together, with silver predominating as a highlight, the black shadowing it. And suddenly you calm. You're on a plateau, almost the height of a tower, several stories. The plateau is like a table lying underneath a clear sky. Beneath the plateau, surrounding it in all directions, a forest hazy with mist. Although whether it's an actual mist, a distance, or a recollection, resting in the curve of a natural arch above you is a great copper bell, half again the size of a man, ringing at attention as if looking down on you, an event unfolding before you. The plateau is soaked in the sun, and the rock beneath you is rough and warm. The sky forms the cradle around you. You feel different, not disembodied, but you feel your body. Your physical contours have changed along with the surroundings. And you hear a soft series of chimes, like wind chimes. At the sound, the scene gains colour and texture as if the sound is beckoning you gently forth, filling your senses and thoughts. Like a mist roiling slowly into a sealed chamber, and focus on the chimes. The chime coaxes you deeper into the memory, and you're certain it is a memory, a warm one. You're on the stone at the plateau, your knees on the warm texture of the ground, silver, white, shimmering like Adra. The plateau is formed of it, glistening in the sun. You can feel the heat on your skin, your wrists, your hands are in motion. Weaving, not thread, but gathering, tenderly moving along the first movements of Bharat's wheel. Your hands are wet. Your hands are on the flesh of a newborn child. You can feel the crowding of a tiny head, turning in your grip, its head slick wet from the womb. The hands you are wearing, inhabiting, have done this many times, and they are practiced and confident. You can feel distant pains in your own head as the head emerges, a stream of fluid from the womb helping the newborn slide forth, and a woman's laboured breathing crying out. Focus on the child, the movement of your hands. As your hands move, you hear the sound of chimes. Clear, cutting through the haze of memory. You cannot see where they are coming from, but they are close, and they are meant as a comfort. That you are certain. Hold the hand. Draw the child forth. And coaxed by your hands, every movement causing the chimes to sound again. Almost eagerly the child comes forth, and as it does, your hands are in motion, weaving, moving along the length of a soft, wet rope. No, an umbilical cord from the legs of the naked woman before you. You are holding a small child, still wet from the womb, before you. The child cries out, its cry full of life, full of soul, ringing of chimes echoing in his thoughts, filling it with its welcome. The soul is blurred at the edges, as if you are viewing the soul from within a soul, but it is there. It is alive. The woman before you is weeping, and at her first cry, her hands reach out for it. Surrender the child. You surrender the child to her, something you have done many times before. And as your hands move, the chimes echo their movement, and you realize the chimes are hanging from cords on your wrists. And whence and where they echoed in the memory, they are now echoing the child's mind as well. The chimes are intended to welcome the child, to be its first gentle greeting into the world, a soothing sound guided by the tender motions of your wrists. You are helping to weave its thoughts, its perceptions, and the experience. The woman laughs with a rack of joy, laughing from a parched throat. Her emotions seem soothed, but the physical demand of labour had left her exhausted. But the child is here, the child is safe, and all atop the plateau is peaceful, calm, distant, flattening out as memory persists. Slowly pull back and retreat from the memory. With effort, the scene bleeds of colour. Your mind becomes your own again, but there is no pull or anchor, and the sound of the chimes remains. As they existed in the memory, they sound here as well, and they are hanging from woven braids on the wrists of the woman before you. Even as your head is spinning from the touch of her mind, the sound of the chimes on her wrists is sharp and clear, as if coaxing you back to the real world. The woman still sits before you, but she is nothing like what you first saw. She's wearing black shredded garments that drape over her form like streamers. Her hair is streaks of black and run through to silver. Her age is almost impossible to tell. She simply feels old, like a crumbled watchtower. As she lifts her head to face you, you see that her hair is draped across the front of her face like a veil. What you first saw of her was a mental glamour of a sort, unconscious. Perhaps you realize what you see is not what the world sees, and you are perhaps the first to see her do so. Still, you don't sense a threat in the realization. If anything, you feel a sense of relief from the figure. You hear her thoughts, and she's glad, at last, to be seen. This is my favourite NPC companion in Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2. Who are you?
I am seen, but the eyes of others do not remember. You were the first to see me as I am, the call stripped aside.
There's a light touch in her mind, a caress, and her left hand mirrors the motion of the touch, reaching up to the air between you. You hear the chime on her wrist sound softly. Her hand moves as if pantomiming, resting on her cheek at a distance. She speaks softly and slowly.
Your memories.
Tara Strong, I didn't know that. That's
Cadence
cool.
of wheels on a caravan track. Fever. Questions by running water. Violence in a night's campfire. Arrows in the dark. And fleeing. Falling rock and cracking stone. And a storm. The storm.
She's reading the history of Tara Platt? Okay. Yeah, although you're right, I wouldn't just say get away. That was like a striking thing to happen, but we can't do it. She's reading the past so far.
The storm that brushed you. Did its screaming wake you from your mind's cradle? Your memory of it is painful. Its cry is difficult to ignore. It's like a child. Many children crying out.
You cautious what you read in my mind without my leave. Her hand withdraws shyly, the chime sounding softly once again. The woman stands uncertainly, as if she's been sitting for some time, or is too weak to bear her own weight. You notice her cheekbones are tight, her face gaunt, yet while her stance is weak, she seems determined to stand before you.
You are able to see me.
That is almost a question. You suddenly realize she doesn't need to know what you saw when you looked at her, the image on the plateau, yet the image was so clear and so sharp, you're surprised she didn't feel you there.
To see me is a rare gift. A watcher's gift.
We're not a cipher. We can't choose this. The second time I played through, I was a cipher. And because she is a cipher, it was hard to have her in my party, but boy, I found a way for a lot of it. I've never been able to do that with a living person, except with you.
So many questions, thoughts, whirling like storm winds.
I know we're over time, friends. Thank you for sticking with me. We're going to finish this conversation, have a brief chat, and then we'll say goodnight.
Muted and secret, like an underground river. I cannot tell if it is carving new channels, or eroding what keeps your true strength buried.
I love her voice too, rebooting.
The fact that you could hear it at all, survive it, is something few have ever done.
It's true.
Your power will grow stronger with each soul you touch, as it allowed you to reach out to mine.
There is a silence, and although it seems to last about a heartbeat, in your thoughts it stretches out between the two of you, like a pull between your minds. You blink, take a breath, and you realize she wants to ask you a question, and yet can't form the words, as if assembling them is painful, or there simply aren't enough pieces. Assemble the thought. Do you wish to travel with me? You feel a wave of fear gusted with the strength of relief, although oddly her expression does not change. Hell yeah, what? Exactly, Baker.
See through your eyes, Watcher, and feel your footfalls echoed in my thoughts. Perhaps together we can make sense of what is broken within and without.
Excellent. Let's get to line of dialogue. I'll read it now. Then fear dissipates and you feel strength and certainty as the plateau from your memory lies beneath you and a calm sky looks down upon you. End dialogue. Grieving mother has joined
Your
the party.
thoughts must flow deeply indeed.
I love her too.
Your thoughts must flow deeply indeed.
Her inventory slot is not that fancy, you know? Just pretty normal. Character, which is Metafolk Human, and is a Cipher, 5th level. Her background is the Deerwood midwife. I'm going to equip her with some stuff. We'll have a brief chat. As a Cipher, she can use daggers. She probably shouldn't be on the front line from home. But, you know, we'll do what we can. So what is a Cipher? I remember when we created character Cipher was one of the classes we really picked. I leant against it because I wanted to keep Grieving Mother in the party. That very selfish thought. I didn't tell anyone, it was mostly a spoiler. Chris chatted about him with Cipher what I went through. You're totally right. And you know what? Let's fucking do it, right? Let's give it all the great sword justice. Extra crush damage, extra accuracy. You don't get power points as fast. You get a big chunk at once. Single monster step. Give her a huge sword. Fuck yeah, right? Oh, I'm glad we got people on board. Hell yeah. Okay, so Cypher's essentially psychics, right? It's their word for it. They deal with the minds of people, where Watchers deal with the souls and animators, right? Not to get too personal, but again, let's build that parasocial relationship with fans online. My mother is a midwife and has been nearly all of her life that I've been alive, right? And here is the first NPC companion in a video game where someone else is a midwife, and they don't treat it as just a job, right? Grieving Mother, and that's her full name, the only name we'll know her by, seems to treat that part of it as a payment. She went through life and she spent a lot of time helping mothers give birth, and we treat childbirth is, yes, dangerous, but mostly handled. You go to the hospital, doctors deal with it, you're fine. They remove the people from part of it. You know, and I don't like that. I think that sucks. This is a fantasy character as a midwife, and I can tell you we would not have society nearly to an extent if there weren't people willing to look after people giving birth. It's probably the most difficult and painful things you do in your entire life, and as groups and as societies and groups of people, the things we do best to support one another, especially in times of need, and childbirth is you're screaming. Essentially, whenever you're screaming, you're only saying, I need help in some way. And so I think it sucks in so many fantasy games and whatnot that there aren't other midwives. Not just because my mother's one, and because I've been told a couple of times that they're important. From societal standpoint, you need healers, you need wise people, you need friends, you need cooks, and you need midwives to help people in times of need. And as someone who recently went to the hospital for the thing they call the male version or the most pain a man will experience with a kidney stone, I fucking tell you, I needed calm and guiding hands, perhaps some charms on them, to get through that process. And so I'm really glad that there's a character like Grieving Mother. Also, I really liked it. Minor spoilers. The plot point, like, she's not hiding or under a claw because she's because she killed babies or something awful. It's not that basic, awful plot point. We'll find out what that is later. Yeah, rebooting, you're exactly right. It's impersonal. I'd like to go back to Caed Nua, because I'd like to move through those maps again, and not rushing. On our next stream next Wednesday night. Lauren, yeah, no, not too secular cats, thankfully.
It has long been abandoned.
Thankfully I don't have that. My dad did, which is fun. No, just keep it. I'm okay now. Plans in February for the week. It's so isolating. Exactly. Let's take a look at Bark Hollow because it's been restored, and we'll figure it's there as well. You'll also notice that the Stronghold menu has a notification. It just says Bright Hollow restoration is completed. We still don't have enough to upgrade the main keep, and we can't sell any of our stuff here yet. Can later. What's his name? Family fed midwife for years. They're in Canberra, they probably know each other. It's a smallish community, and boy, they're close-knit. So we restored Bright Hollow, but not all of it, right? This kitchen's still down. This room's restored. This one isn't. The fountain isn't yet. But upstairs is... Sorry, I'm just scrolling back. Is that a bit of a rant? I want to actually check chat. Yeah. One, bring her along. Absolutely, we will. Get a huge sword. Yeah, you're totally right. Alchemist with the initial start of combat self-buffer paralyzed and where she goes. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll take that in mind, Ulrich. Thank you for the tactics. There's some nightmares as the Ultra Saber suddenly made a place. Yeah. Distance. But when they are there to help, it's really super important. So I'm glad sometimes we can just fight. The wilderness and the deer rambles on beyond the house. I love that they're like, we just restored this place, and I'm like, okay, why is there a chest with loot? We just restored this place itself. What's inside? Nothing! Obviously. We can put stuff in it. Like that you can see the damaged fountain below. I like that once you restore the fountain, not too much of a thing, right? A spoiler, right? Once you restore the fountain, you can see that it's restored downstairs here as well. Thick woven wearful wool feels soft and warm. I was wanting to practice, jeez. What's in the drawer? Close enough. Something have some mystery for 5 years before retirement. Yeah, because it burns you out. Imagine the clinicality opposed to something that, again, would have a lot of ritual behind it as well. The most important thing, and sometimes just not there to help as much as you'd like to. It's tough, is what I'm saying. Up bed, you can rest. The window on the other side of the curtain looks down at a tangled mess of overgrown hedges. No bonus here. Could also retrain characters here for a small amount of gold. Rest with no bonus. Rest in Bright Hollow, in Caed Nua, our home. No worries, Kibble. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, let's save and finish it up here. Funny coincidence, she's been playing PS Running and doing game. Yeah. Why the Lord doesn't get a room in the castle. The castle hasn't been repaired, you know? We're working on it. You missed it because of work. Oh, we miss you too. I did hope you had a decent night at work, and feel free to join us in the VODs. Shout out to everyone who listens and watches the VODs. You're just as part of this experience as the rest of us here live. If you want to tune in live and type anything to us, we'd love to have you, but we recognize that shyness happens, you know? Well, that's alright. Enjoy. We'll see you then. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I really appreciate you coming along, especially our new people, feeling brave and chatting to us. What in mind? Our new good friend, Brit, thank you very much. I hope to see you again. And I'd also like to give a shout out to the art stream done by my friend Keita. I'm just going to remember his screen name, which is escaping me at the moment. Sorry. Alright, I'm afraid it's in my watch list and I just have to ask you to take it there because I recommend there, everyone there, there we are, Full Security, and Dead Man's Tea Party, good friends of mine, streaming lots, love them very much. Otherwise, I'll see you again next week, same time. I hope you have a really good week ahead, okay?